watch the vision take hold, turning late round flyers into Detroit gold. He's the master of the board, the dealer.
Cause he the best of the best.
Putting every expert opinion in check.
Stacking.
Expert opinion in check. He doesn't follow trends, he creates the hook. Quiet in the room, let Brad cook. To the trenches we swear, where the dirty work's done, where the game isn't played, it's physically won. I promise to roar till my vocal cords fray, to believe in the homes and the Brad chosen way. We don't want the flash, we don't want the glitz, just the hunters who thrive in the heart of the grit. Liberty from the cellar, and justice for the years of pain. No more same old lions, just the kings of the northern reign. I pledge my allegiance, my heart and my roar, to the team that we love and the team we adore. With kneecaps for breakfast and victory in sight, we're the Detroit Lions and we're winning tonight.
In his third season from Alabama, number 0, Jahmyr Gibbs.
All right, what's happening, everybody? It is August 5th, which means we are at a little break period here for the Lions. They're going to get back to action tomorrow. So welcome into Rock Down Detroit Lions. Used to be Off the Cuff. Now it's DFJ Sports Report. Appreciate you guys joining me tonight. We're probably going to have a very light crew, as, again, we don't normally go on at 4:43 in the afternoon. Tried to get on at 4, tried to get on at 4:30. Just wasn't going to work out for me today. But anyway, I wanted to go through a full recap of what's happened. Obviously, there's a little bit of news that hit today with the Lions bringing in a new president. I've got questions. I have questions. Because we'll talk about it. But anyway, today I want to go through a full recap of basically what's happened over the last week, kind of where we sit, and kind of go through, some of the craziness that is out there in social media, because fans are just melting down over this Blackshear signing, and I don't think they understand it. I don't think they understand football or why you need to have more than a couple of running backs on a team. But anyway, we're going to get into multiple things. We're going to review the offensive line, obviously the entire offense, entire defense, special teams. It's not going to be super long like all of the other daily recaps. This is just kind of more of like the top hitters, who's doing what, who's standing out, and then we'll open up full lines at some point, take a few phone calls if anyone wants to call in, and that's about it. I took a break this morning since we didn't have practice. We didn't have press conference. Took a break this morning, and I needed it. It was much needed. But instead, I decided to, damn near cut my fingers off today. And I'll tell you a funny story. It was on a thing of yogurt. It was on a thing of yogurt. Uh-oh. Okay. Kirkland yogurt, their big giant thing of Greek yogurt, just plain Greek yogurt. It has a silver foil that goes around the outside. I reached into the fridge. I grabbed it. It was a little wet, had like condensation on it. So my fingers were like going around the cap. And as I pulled it out of the fridge to pop the top, it went slice and it went right through my fingers. I've never seen or heard of a piece of foil like that covering yogurt go through somebody's skin so easily. But it did, and I was bleeding everywhere. I don't know why my blood looks so thin, but that's a good thing because my blood used to be like motor oil. But now that I'm down exactly 20 pounds today, and in better shape, taking better care of my body, not putting a bunch of junk in it. My blood's moving. That's good. That's good. Hopefully you guys are on the same plan. So we'll check in today. It's 6'1", 242.4 pounds. Let me know what you guys are in the chat right now. Height, weight, whatever you want to do. Don't be ashamed. Just next week, make sure it's less, right? Get on a treadmill, go for a walk, drink some protein shakes, get in shape. Here's why I'm also doing it. Like I said yesterday, we stay in shape, Lions stay in shape, right? We stay healthy, they're going to stay healthy. So if we want our Lions to stay healthy, then we need to do it ourselves. I think it's a good cause. Or I'm just going to use that as an excuse. I want them to stay healthy this year. We want to have a good season. We want to have a great season. We want to go all the way. 20 games. That is the plan this year. 20 games. No less. Not including preseason either. 20 games. So anyway, how you guys doing? Who's all in the chat today? Do we even have anybody watching today? Probably not. Trace just sent me an update on Kitzelman. Kitzelman was just placed on IR. I'm not surprised by this at all. Let me go back to what she just sent me. Lions placed tight end Kitzelman on reserved injured and signed wide receiver Tyleik Black. So they brought him back. They just let him go the other day. Now he's back. That tells you something, right? They're liking what they see out of the guy. I forgot to mention, I do want to go through the XM radio. I do have that all queued up. So we have three things we're going to start with, and then we'll go through at the very end, we'll go through my breakdown, because there's some things in here that Dan Campbell is going to say, that Aiden Hutchinson's going to say, and Jared Goff is going to say, that I think is going to paint a really good picture of what's going on. Let's start with Dan Campbell. It's the first one. It's only 6 minutes, and we'll start and kind of get through it. Edge, I'll answer your question real quick. What do I think is holding up Gibbs' deal? It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money, and I think that now that the Lions have a new president, I'm not saying that the new president needs to be involved at all, but maybe that's what they're waiting for. Maybe, now that the new president's in town, coming over from the Pistons, by the way, that's what I'm worried about right there. You're coming from the Pistons as the former COO of the Pistons to come run a football organization. I mean, at least he has sports background, right? At least he has executive experience in a sports background. Maybe that's better than our previous guy, Rod Wood, but maybe that's part of the equation. Maybe not. I mean, GM Brad Holmes has autonomy over the roster, so I would doubt it, but I at least got to throw that out there, right? I think it's valuable to at least throw that out there. The biggest thing that's holding it up is a lot of money. It's a lot of money, and he's looking for another record-breaking deal, bigger than Bijan Robinson. And since you asked the question, I don't know if I have Brad Holmes' audio. Hold on. I don't. Why do I not have Brad Holmes' audio? So he also sat down with XM, and I was going to play it. I'll have to find the video, and then I'll have to get permission, obviously, from XM to use it. But the way that he said, now I'm going to go out on a limb here, but the way that Brad Holmes said, of course they love Jahmyr Gibbs. Of course they want to, get things going. They're working on things. There's dialogue, yada, 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 right? The way that he said it didn't seem like a deal was going to get done. If I'm reading between the tea leaves, it just didn't come across to me like anything was happening. And so maybe I hate to say they're looking for a trade partner, because I don't think that would happen this year either. And we talked about this last night for a while, that trading Gibbs right now wouldn't make any sense. You don't have any draft picks you can use right now to replenish your roster. You would need a player in an exchange. You would need a running back. in exchange for Jahmyr Gibbs plus a first-round pick. The money side of it, he's under contract through 2027. If Jahmyr Gibbs doesn't play and decides to hold in and then become a holdout, because once the season starts, it's holdout. Can't be near the facility, right? You're pretty much done at that point. If he doesn't play the first 12 weeks of the season, then his contract tolls, and I don't think that anybody wants that to happen. And I don't think that Jahmyr Gibbs would let that happen. But at what point does it become too much? I think we're in infancy stages still. I mean, we're only a week in. Bijan Robinson just got done 24 hours ago, 36 hours ago. Whatever it is now, 36, I think. And so here we are, right? It's time for Jahmyr Gibbs to get his deal done, and it's an ass load of money. But we looked at Bijan Robinson's numbers, and they're very effective numbers for the first couple of seasons. It was like $8 million this year, and I think it was 11 something for Bijan next year. It'd be very similar for Jahmyr Gibbs. His balloon would probably be around $7.5, $8 million this year, and then it'd be around 14.3 next year. And then the next year after that, that is when the real money starts to kick in. And depending on how they structure it, it's just a 3-year extension. And we've seen what the Lions have done with all the other extensions. They've been backloading all of them. And if you look at Aiden Hutchinson's deal, even though he had the largest overall volume of guaranteed funds, he only had a small portion guaranteed at sign. And if Brad is trying to give Jahmyr Gibbs a small guarantee at sign and then guarantee more after every league year, I 100% would believe that Jahmyr Gibbs' camp is saying, hell no. No way. Not happening. They want that money now. And if you, according to JMO,
I wouldn't even say look at the stats, look at the film.
You look at the film, you got to pay the guy. Why? Well, just listen to what JMO said.
Because he the best of the best.
Absolutely. And then what is he going to do with this check?
Stacking.
All day. So I think that it'll get done soon, but we'll see over the next 24, 48 hours where it goes. But Brad Holmes' comments didn't make me feel any better about it. It really didn't. Let's take a brief walk around Uper Lights. When we get back, we're going to jump right into Jared Goff. Maybe. Uper Lights isn't working. Why isn't Uper Lights working? Uh-oh. None of them are working. What happened? Something happened.
Every day, thousands of people are discovering Uper Lights, Michigan's newest, funnest rock to go find on the shores of the Great Lakes. Don't go out with just any light. Try the Convoy C8 from uperlights.com. It's guaranteed for life, and you'll find all the ones everyone else misses. Quality UV lights that are perfect for Uper Lights with prices starting as low as $20. Please make sure to visit uperlights.com for all your UV flashlight needs with the best guarantees on the market. Just what you wanted and not what you didn't. The best quality, the best guarantees, and the best UV flashlights from uperlights.com.
All right. I think I got it figured out now. I think we should be all set. Just on the wrong page, I guess. I don't know how that happened. Anyway, let's get into Jared Goff, man. Sat down with XM Radio and had a conversation about what's happening. How's camp going? What he, kind of views this team doing this year. So let's take a listen.
All right, welcome back in SiriusXM NFL Radio, continuing our training camp tour. We're in Detroit and now going to catch up with the Lions quarterback, Jared Goff. Jared, we appreciate the time, man. Thanks for having
thanks
on.
for having me. Thanks for being flexible for me.
Oh, absolutely. Hey, we told you. Today, a little bit of a lighter day, a little bit of a walk-through day. I remember those training camp days. We're going to give you all the time you need.
Thank you. Yeah, able to get some busy work done and handle some things.
We heard yesterday was a little bit of a get after it. We heard that tomorrow and Friday are going to be more of the same as well.
That's right. Yeah, yesterday was a big one for us, and today's a down day, just a walk through, and had a few meetings, and then tomorrow, like you said, another big one, and then Friday's the scrimmage day for us.
Yep.
How's the install rate going? And I ask that because we don't practice a lot, and I've talked to coaches that say they still install the whole month of September, which I don't think is a good idea, but Belichick said it to me the last time I talked to him about it at the Patriots. I go, what? He goes, yeah, we can't get to everything.
Yeah. No, everyone's got a different philosophy on it, and we installed a lot of the stuff that we're doing in the spring in OTAs.
Yep.
So some of that stuff you end up skipping over a little bit, and then some of the things that you want to be a little bit more detailed on, you spend a little bit more time on. But Drew's done a great job of all that, of handling the volume and giving us heavier days intentionally sometimes to see who can handle it, and then backing it down when he sees fit. But it's at a good rate right now, and I think he's doing a good job.
Great.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about Drew right off the top here. Coming over from Arizona, a little bit more tight end usage, a little bit more 12, a little bit more 13 than y'all did a year ago. Do you see some of that maybe coming into the offense this year here, knowing you've got a couple of tight ends that certainly can handle it?
Yeah, if it fits. I think we're finding out right now kind of who we want to be and have a good idea, but you're still kind of working through that. And Drew will just do whatever fits. If we had 6 running backs, we'd put them all on the field if we thought they were
that sounds like a good plan.
If we thought they were all the best players at each spot. So I think he's very flexible in what he wants to do, and we have a really good problem of a lot of really good skill players, and want to be able to find a way to get them all the ball.
A little bit on your tight end room. You've had a couple of injuries. You put a kid on there. You got the top 2 guys.
Yeah.
The big time blocker in Brock, and then of course the phenomenal other guy. But most teams are carrying 3 or a 4th. I don't need names, but how do you see that room?
Phenomenal other guy. Couldn't remember Sam Laporta's name.
Yeah, they've done a great job, improving and getting better, and Coach Oliver's doing a good job with them. And we signed Conklin in this offseason, and we'll see what he can do. He's a veteran guy who has a lot of experience, and he did a great job in the spring, and I feel pretty good about him. But, yeah, they're all competing in there and seeing where they can come along, and a lot of young guys getting better, which is fun. And like you mentioned, Brock and Sam kind of holding their own every day. It's been fun to watch.
Speaking of young guys, what about Isaac out there at receiver? Feels like last year, he certainly flashed, but we all know, remember, the rookie year to the second year, it's a massive jump. You get more comfortable. What have you seen from him early in camp?
Yeah, he's getting more comfortable every day, improving and asking the right questions and learning, and still a young player who's working through, different tweaks and mistakes, but he's doing a great job, man. He really is, and finding ways to get better every day, and I can see the improvements in some things, and it's fun.
Center's is someone's new. Now, I don't know which one's going to win it or who's going to play the most, but they're guys that weren't here before.
Yeah.
And your relationship with those guys is always important.
Up front?
Yeah.
Yeah, they've done a good job. They're starting to gel now. We're 7 practices in, and you can kind of start to see them, start to hit their combination blocks a little bit smoother and start to get more comfortable with the guy next to them. I think Cade at center has done a hell of a job. Obviously, Panay is going to do his thing, and you don't want to take that for granted because of how good of a player he is, but you kind of know that the left side's taken care of there. There's a battle at left guard, and at right tackle, Blake stepped up and done a great job as well. So it's all been good. Tate's doing a really good job. They're starting to gel. I think that's the best way to put it.
For Panay to do that, he makes it look easily, flawlessly, just moves over there.
Yeah, it's really incredible.
It's not easy to do, but every person that sat in that chair today has been like, we know what he's going to do, and he's already done it.
It's really crazy. I know, to say that and to just be confident about it, and it really took him probably a couple days. And again, we're taking that for granted, and he's putting a lot of work in. It's not like he's just transitioning over there in his sleep. He's putting a lot of work in and making sure he feels comfortable over there, but pretty early in OTAs, we're like, yeah, he can do it.
Yeah.
And he feels pretty confident, I think, at this point.
Yep.
I don't care what side he's on. He's always going to block by himself. He's not getting any help.
It seems like it. I know he likes some help, but no, when he's the type of player he is, he seems to do it on his own a lot.
Yeah, with a young guy on the other side, too, who's going to need some help from you guys.
Yeah, Blake's done a good job, though. He really has. He's learning again. He's a rookie. He's making his own mistakes every day, but don't often see the same mistake twice with him, which is good. And then a lot of the physical stuff that he's doing has been really good. The mental stuff will come. It's hard as a rookie. There's so much going on, and he'll make his mistakes, but he really is doing a good job.
I was reading his profile in this little book they gave us, and it said, tell us something we don't know about you. His opening sentence, I can do a cartwheel.
Oh, really? He's athletic. We got to have him do a cartwheel.
All
It's
big
in the
guys,
book.
all big guys want to show you they're athletic, though.
Oh yeah, they don't want to be the big guy. They can say, "Hey, I can move." So that's good to know.
He wants to catch a pass.
Yeah, he might.
That's
We
what I'm
never
saying.
know. He might.
Y'all have done that in the past. He wants to catch a pass. One thing I want to ask you about is the running back position. And look, we're not going to ask you about Gibbs. That's a front office situation that's going to get worked out. But y'all have always had a 1-2 punch here, right? And so you make a trade, but you bring a guy in Pacheco, somebody that runs hard, he runs angry, and I expect that 1-2 punch to stay the same.
Yeah, I think so. I think Pacheco has done a great job up to this point. Yesterday, when pads came on and it became like a live tackle drill, you could really see his value.
Yeah, it's where he's going to
really
thrive.
show.
Explosion.
He runs angry, he runs hard. A dirty run turns into 4 or 5 yards, and that's just so valuable in the NFL, being able to be in 2nd and 5 instead of 2nd and 8. And he's done a great job. And then in the pass game as well, he's learning and picking it up and doing a good job.
No, they probably wouldn't ask you, but I'm interested, and I know that my partner's interested. I like Luke Altmaier coming out of school. Mm-hmm. I was shocked he wasn't drafted, but he's here. Just a little bit update on his learning curve, because
he's done a really good job, really has. Picking it up quickly and operating the offense, I think, at a good pace, which is, I think, probably what you want to see from a rookie, and gets in and out of the huddle, calls the play right, snaps the ball on time, and throws it where it's supposed to go typically, and has done a good job. He's awesome to have in the room, and I like Luke a lot.
Yeah, we asked the same question in San Francisco. Tell me about Brock Purdy, the last pick in the draft, and I got kind of the same report.
Yeah.
So it's. I think that guy has a real chance, personally.
Yeah, Luke's been great, man. Luke's been awesome.
Yeah, people don't understand how important. And Teddy Bridgewater obviously has played a lot of football. Like, he's in the room there, and that relationship between you and the backup quarterback and coming off the field and being able to trust Teddy, and he's kind of like your second set of eyes. And you're going to have your coaches too, but you got a guy that's played so much football. You can go right to him, and what he saw, you're going to trust, and that's so valuable.
Yeah, I think you nailed it. It's very valuable, and his value to me personally shows up on game day, like you said, where he'll tell me the truth. He'll tell me sometimes what I don't want to hear, but then he'll also confirm when I'm right about what I'm seeing and whatnot. And again, I do trust him tremendously with his eyes and what he's seeing on the sideline. And then he'll have ideas throughout the week, which has been fun too in the past, where he'll throw an idea out and we'll end up hitting it on game day. And he's got so much experience, so some of the stuff that he comes up with is really good, and he can help in that way too.
Yep.
So I asked when we were up at lunch, are you going to scrimmage anybody? The answer was no. There's no one on the schedule to scrimmage this year, or whatever you guys want to call
Joint practice?
Joint practice.
Nope, we're not doing that.
And then, do you feel you need preseason games? Because this is the third camp in 3 days.
It's a great question.
The other two camps, I wouldn't put my first out there. I think they're learning and moving along so well, so quickly. I don't know that the preseason game is going to provide experience you need.
I think I need whatever Dan thinks I need. So
that's
I will play if they want us to play. We have a new coordinator. There's certainly an argument for it. If he doesn't want to put anyone out there, there's certainly an argument for that too. So whatever Dan wants to do, we will follow suit and see where it goes.
Yeah, Dan.
We were talking about you earlier. You're like a fine wine, man. I mean, with age, you just get better and better. Look, you had a lot of success early in your career. I mean, played in the Super Bowl, obviously. But what is it about, man? It just feels the last 3 years, I'm going to tell you, I don't care. You've been as good as anybody, and it feels like you continue to develop, continue to grow, continue to get better. What has it been over the last couple of years? Because you've had different coaches, but a lot of same personnel.
Yep.
What's been maybe different for you continuing to get better with age?
Great question. Yeah. You end up seeing stuff, and it's hard to see new things very often, I guess. You've had so much experience, you start stacking experience, and the game just continues to slow down a little bit. It's never easy. It's always hard. It's very hard to prepare, and these defenses are only getting better. But there are some things where you can see some pressures before they happen, and things start to slow down a little bit, and you just gain experience and are able to anticipate a little bit more than maybe you had in the past. And I think that helps tremendously. There's such fine margins in the league where if I can have an idea of where the ball is going to a greater degree than I did before, that'll help me a lot.
When people start, we see a lot of 13. You talked about it a minute ago, 12. Lots of 21 coming back with the last two teams had
the fullback.
Two fullbacks on both
We're
teams.
trying to get one to you, Jared. We're trying to get one here.
So my point about it is the play action pass stuff. is really set to go. With you're forcing people back into base defense, which they don't even line up in
Man,
anymore.
Exactly. You're all over it. Yep, you're right. Exactly right. You're forcing teams into base if you get in those heavy personnels, and then that takes one DB off the field, obviously, one less guy who's good at pass defense, and you're able to throw some of those in-breakers, pass plays that pull those linebackers up, throw it in behind them, and you're exactly right. I think the league trends goes in circles.
It's coming back.
And it seems that could be coming back in some ways. A lot of teams had success with it last year, and will we do it? Will we not? I don't know. I mean, it depends on what we think is the best personnel to put out there, and we're working through that.
One thing we know, no matter if it's 11, 12, 13, 21, 22, it's going to be physical.
It better be.
Everybody that sat in that chair, same thing. They've talked about it. I mean, again, going back to yesterday's practice, but just the mindset, the mentality. If you play here, it doesn't matter what position you play. You better bring it every single day.
Yeah, we don't really. Now, I it's hard for me to speak on this because I'm not really a part of that physicality as much, but I certainly know the guys that are.
You're the maestro of it, though.
Sure, I am. I'm not really sticking my nose in it, but I mean, St. Brown, J-Mo, Laporta, Tesla, Gibbs, those are your skill players, and those guys are willing to do it. Obviously, the O-line's willing to do it. That's their job. But those guys are the ones who really, like, when the receivers are willing to block the way our guys are, it changes everything. And that St. Brown sets a tempo. J-Mo came in soon after him. J-Mo's now setting his own tempo, and everyone kind of follows suit. So it's awesome. It really is.
Tell me about your defense from 1 or 2 days in pads.
Yeah, hard to tell. I don't know. I mean, it's so hard to tell. They're still installing. We're still installing.
Yeah.
They certainly are physical. I know that, and they're doing a good job being downhill, being physical. Jack's doing a great job leading them over there, and watching some of these new DBs that are veteran guys do a good job as well. Really have.
All right,
Big up front,
Obviously,
too.
Hutch is Aleem's been really impressive.
Yeah, we've
really,
heard that
really
all,
impressive.
We've heard that
I
all
think
day, too.
His off season, he had a great off season, and I think he'd tell you that his training was really tremendous, and he looks really good.
See, the thing I miss about not being here on a practice day, one, is the pads thumping, but also seeing Jared and Jack go kind of one-on-one, right? Kind of the mind of the defense, mind of the offense, because y'all both seem like – and Shep came in here and told us, he's like, look, I let Jack call the whole walkthrough today.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's like that kind of guy. He's like, I let him call the whole thing today, and I would love to see y'all go back and forth. I bet those battles are fun.
It's fun, and I know his calls, he knows my calls, so we're kind of like playing poker where we know each other's hand. And it's fun. It really is. Jack does a great job, and it seems like right when I think I know what I got with him, he'll have something that looks different, and I hope I'm doing the same, making it hard on him. And it really is fun to have a guy over there who sees the game cerebrally like that.
That's right.
It's fun.
You're still having fun?
I am. Still having fun. 11 years in, still going, having fun.
I'm getting older because I just remember you coming in the league.
Yeah, shoot.
You know,
it feels like a long time ago.
I remember your rookie season. I had a friend there, and they showed you no mercy, blitzing you every day
in practice. You remember that? Yeah.
Greg Williams. Greg Williams blitzed you every day.
Yeah, not an easy defense to learn against with Aaron Donald also over there, but certainly cut my teeth that way.
Yeah, and it's an amazing what you transpired and wanted to be, and how they thought the baptism by fire. I talked to Jeff Fisher about it. I go, what do you think this is proving?
Yeah, no, it was tough. But I certainly learned a lot.
All right, welcome back in. Sirius XM NFL.
So that was Jared Goff on XM Radio today, I believe. Now, I want to say one thing real quick. Doesn't it seem kind of odd, or does it seem fitting that the Lions scheduled XM Radio to come in when they weren't really doing anything? The whole offseason, they don't want anybody seeing anything. Now, they've let the fans, but when you're there, there's, no cameras, no video, no nothing allowed during practice. They don't want anything getting out. So XM Radio comes in today when they're not doing anything. So they were able to sit down with Aiden and Dan and Brad and yada, yada, yada. Let me just kind of recap what he just said, kind of give you my 2 cents. The first thing they really talked about was the tight end position and how, Drew Petzing, is going to utilize what fits. That's what Jared Goff said. It's not that, we're going to have these great tight ends or multiple tight ends in on every single play and stack, 3-4 tight ends on a play, 2-3 all the time. That's not what they're going to do. So initially, we had thought that Drew Petzing's bringing the 13 personnel and they're going to live, eat, and breathe out of that. And that's just not what's happening so far. The fact that he said, if it fits, tells you that Drew Petzing is going to take the best of the best that he has available that day, and he's going to create the best plan for that day. He's not going to run around and try to stick, square pegs into round holes and just force feed it. If it ain't going to work, it ain't going to work. And you're going to have to find a different plan. And so I love that about Drew Petzing. Offensive line starting to gel already within the first week. The comfort next to each other was mentioned. And that's what I've been saying for the last several days. That this is a giant, very difficult choreographed dance, if you want to think about it that way. These guys have to learn each other. They have to learn how they react. They have to learn, how they're moving. And the other thing that I was trying to get everyone to understand is like there's a feeling that comes with it too, whether you want to call it your sixth sense or whatever. They have to be able to feel these guys, especially Jared Goff. And that gives them the opportunity to play smarter, right? And to make sure that they're doing their job inside of the scheme and taking care of what they need to take care of, but also developing that continuity along the offensive line so the offensive line can play fast and also can play some strong Iron Man football up there to keep Jared Goff clean. So he does mention the battle at left guard. Obviously, Mahogany's pulling away from that right now. Penei Sewell only took a couple of days to get rolling. And I guess I'm not surprised by that. I mean, there really hasn't been a whole lot of negative things said about Penei Sewell. Even in one-on-ones, he wins one, he loses one with Aiden Hutchinson the other day, but primarily he's been playing fine. And so that's good news too. Blake's doing well, but he also kind of went into a litany of things that, he's going to have his self-inflicted wounds. He's going to make his own mistakes. But the most important thing that Jared Goff said about Blake Miller was that he doesn't make the same mistake twice. That is the key to a rookie being able to take that first leap in their first year. Don't make those same mistakes. Learn from it. And Blake Miller, if you learned anything about him in the offseason, is he loves to watch film and he will study and study and study until he gets it right. And then during the week, he obviously studies the defensive line pretty heavily and his opponents. So this doesn't surprise me at all. That was kind of funny. He said he can do a cartwheel. Penei Sewell in practice was catching passes from Jared Goff. I'm sure some of you have already seen that video flying around. And I thought that was kind of interesting that they're doing some design pass work to Penei Sewell already and that someone showed it. I don't think they are just screwing around. I think that is probably a play that, could get utilized at some point. Maybe it's for a 2-point conversion. Maybe they'll throw to Penei a couple of times. Maybe he will be that, uncovered third tight end that's dressing up as the left tackle. We'll see. We'll see how it works. I mean, Penei can move, man. He's got good big hands, but good hands, and he can move. And if you get in front of him, he's going to take you out. I mean, everyone's going to have to go low on the guy. And we saw what he did the first time he caught a pass. He put that dude right in the dirt. Second page of notes on Jared Goff. Pacheco. Isaiah Pacheco. I mean, the first words you hear from not only, not only, God, who's there today in that room? I can't remember his name right now. I can't remember the other guy's name. But anyway, it doesn't matter. Both of them said, he's an angry runner. He's a hard runner. And the dirty runs. Like, this is a very valuable statement because this is David Montgomery-esque. A dirty run turns into 4 to 5 yards. That's exactly what David Montgomery would do inside this offense. So if Pacheco is doing that already, it's early, but if he's doing that already, which I expected, I'm not surprised by it. And those are the things that we're looking for out of Isaiah Pacheco. To be that complimentary back, the 1-2 punch that you've already heard from Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell, that they praise, Pacheco for still giving the Lions that opportunity to have that 1-2 punch, just exactly like they did with David Montgomery. We'll see where it plays out this season. Some big words said about Luke Altmaier here, right? A heady player, doing very well, picking it up very fast. Compared him to Brock Purdy. So there was a and I can't remember his name. I don't know why I can't remember his name right now. But the film work and the reports that they had on Altmaier in expecting to be drafted, which a lot of us expected him to be drafted, is Brock Purdy. Like, he's the second coming of Brock Purdy. The only difference is he didn't get drafted. Brock Purdy went last. And if that's the future of Luke Altmaier, if that's what people are thinking he can, if analysts, draft analysts, NFL GMs, whomever, if that's what they think that Luke Altmaier can be and you cut him, he's gone. Just saying. Does that mean you give Brock Purdy a better chance? Does that mean that you keep Brock Purdy over Teddy B? Or does that mean that the Lions could end up keeping three quarterbacks this year and then make some moves throughout the season when maybe nobody's looking? I think there's a possibility for that too. It all depends on how many Brad keeps this year. If he feels like there's only 50, really, really solid players this year and not 53, which he's done in the past, he's got 48, or I'm sorry, he's got 50, or 51. Maybe Altmaier initially makes it onto the roster, and then, again, when nobody's looking, he gets, put down, waived, and then ends up on the practice squad. Now, every team is watching, but there's certain times throughout the year that rosters can't make a lot of moves, and they're not going to make a lot of moves for a third quarterback that they're hoping to land on their practice squad. You see what I'm saying? So there could be an option there. Complete trust with Teddy was something else that he talked about, having Teddy in his ear. He's always going to shoot him straight, always going to tell him the truth. Whether they agree that he's seeing the right things or sometimes he's not, he 100% believes in what Teddy B is coaching him up, on the sideline during or after plays, right? And then last but not least, Aleem McNeil's been extremely impressive. You're hearing it from Jared Goff. You're hearing it from everybody that his transformation this year, his offseason was tremendous. Even though Tyler Lacy's been getting the brunt of the attention because he's just come out of nowhere and he's playing lights out right now, Aleem McNeil is kind of stealing the show for the defensive line. And 11 years for Jared Goff. I can't believe it's already been 11 years for Jared Goff. Insane how time flies. All right. We're going to get into the next one here, which is, I found the audio of Brad Holmes. Let me play the audio here of Brad Holmes talking about Jahmyr Gibbs.
Pacheco coming over, we love the 1-2 punch, feel like they complement each other. So where are you at right now? Because I'm sure you're in constant conversations with Jahmyr Gibbs and his team.
Yeah, look, I can only say, obviously we love Jahmyr. Me and Dan have always been believers in, that 1-2 punch. I just think that's kind of how this league is going now. And but we're having dialogue. We'll see where it goes.
It'll get there.
That's the hope. That's the hope.
Brad does not look. I'm just going to show you his face. He does not look excited. He doesn't look happy. Look, we've seen Brad Holmes many times, right? We know when this guy is given a clue or if something's not right, something's not right. That's what I'm taking away from this. That's a face that's not real happy. Let me mute this real quick. I'll play the last few seconds, and this is where he says what he says. Here we go.
We're having dialogue. We'll see where it goes.
It'll get there.
That's the hope. That's the hope.
All right, so a body language expert, which I am not, a body language expert would tell you that when you are shaking your head and giving an answer, we'll see where it goes, that means that you're thinking something negative. That means that something's not right, that it's not going to happen. And I'm not saying it's not going to happen. I'm not saying that at all. That's funny. I got all these Band-Aids all over me. Damn near cut off my fingers. It just doesn't look right. And again, I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a body language expert, but I've studied plenty of psychology. And that's a tell. I mean, that's a major tell. Even in sales tactics, where I studied a lot of the psychology for, you pick up on those things from your client in front of you, right? If they're, crossing their arms, they're not really interested. They're not pulling down what you're trying to give them. And that doesn't mean always. It just means more times than not, right? If they're shaking their head, looking at the ground, that means they've got some sort of an insecure or, some sort of a bad feeling, or they don't believe in something. It's just a tell. It's usually not a good thing. And so either this means the dialogue's not going great. Could mean nothing at all. Could mean the money is way too much and they don't know how they're going to figure it out. Could mean that they don't have a way to get it done, which I wouldn't believe. I think that they can get it done. I don't know, but it doesn't look right. He does not look, to your point, Cynthia, he does not look confident. And that's not Brad Holmes. He's always confident. He's always confident. If anything, he's overly confident. Or maybe he's pissed. Maybe Brad Holmes is pissed because he thought that he drafted these guys. You remember what he said a couple years ago? We would never have a guy hold in or hold out, because if they do, then we didn't do our process right. Because we wouldn't draft guys like that. And here Jahmyr's holding in. Embarrassing the franchise. They thought that they brought a guy in that wants to play football and wants to win a Super Bowl. And here he's strong-arming the team before camp, and it's delaying all the progress. I'd be pissed. I get it. There's a business to everything. And usually the NFL teams win all of the business, right? They usually get their way because they hold the purse strings. They're a billion-dollar organization, and they can do whatever they want. But once in a while, you have players that win. And this is one of those cases where Jahmyr Gibbs is going to win. The question is how much and to what detriment of the team. I don't think that the team itself is going to be upset towards Gibbs. If anything, it's been anything but that. But the detriment being you're slowing down the process. We have a game. We have a scrimmage in, I think, 4 days. I think that the Lions have a full, white on blue, blue on white scrimmage before the preseason game. And you don't have Jahmyr Gibbs. You have a lot of guys that are banged up. I don't think he's happy. I don't think he's happy. Kind of sucks. I was hoping it was going to get done, right? I mean, he should have been hours away. 24, 36, 48, whatever. Isn't that a song? But anyway, you get what I'm saying. When I look at Brad Holmes, here's what I'm taking away from it.
You sure about that? You sure about that? You sure about that?
I think that Brad's pretty upset by this whole thing. And I think that he just wants to win, man. He wants to bring that trophy to Detroit. And right now, Jahmyr Gibbs is holding it all up. I mean, just look at Brad, dude. I mean, just look how sad he is. Look how sad this guy is. As soon as I can get back to it. Jesus. Look how sad he is.
Coming over, we love the one.
Is what it is, man. Let's get rocking and rolling on the next one. All right, up next, we're going to do who's the quickest? Dan Campbell or Aiden Hutchinson? You guys voted out. You know, the first couple of Hutch or, Campbell's in a row. We'll pick that one. We'll see who you guys want to listen to first. Aiden Hutchinson or Dan Campbell? But let me know in the comments below, obviously in the chat right now. Do you think a deal's going to get done? Do you think it's going to get done before week 1? Yeah, Cynthia, we are missing a major piece of this puzzle right now. You didn't get to see it, Trace? Oh, it's there. It's written all over his face, man. I hope not, but it's written all over his face. We talked about this earlier, that they had to move around a ton of money, which takes time, plus the agent. So I'm not sure what you mean by that. I had to move around a ton of money. The only thing that the Lions have to do money wise, when you put a lot of when you put a lot of guaranteed money together in a contract, now it has to go into escrow, right? I don't think it has to be immediate. I'm sure they get a certain amount of time to do that, but to get a contract in place, I don't think that they need to have that money in the bank right now. I think that the contract comes and then it gets signed, and then you probably have an allotment of time to put, if that's what you're referring to, you have an allotment of time to obviously put that money into escrow. That would never hold up a deal. A deal is a deal is a deal. But I would say that the agent, like similar to what you guys are saying too, is I think that the agent has a lot to do with this. I don't think it's all on Gibbs. Matter of fact, I don't even think it was Gibbs' idea. I think it was the agent's idea. And they're strong arming. They're strong arming the Lions franchise right now, just like they did to Atlanta. All right, I see one Dan Campbell, so I'm just going to roll Dan Campbell. Here we go.
And welcome in our continued coverage of the 2026 NFL Training Camp Tour. This stop, the Detroit Lions. Yesterday, we're in Rochester, New York. Today in Detroit. Looking forward to our first conversation because we are starting it off right off the bat with head coach Dan Campbell. Coach, we appreciate time. Thanks for hopping on with us.
Yeah, absolutely. Always good to talk to you guys.
Yeah, man.
I'm a little jealous that I didn't get a chance to see the pads popping, hear them popping, because this was the stop. I was like, I know that I'm going to see exactly what I want to see. But I know the last couple of days have been very physical, and I know you've probably enjoyed getting to see some guys out there in pads for the first time.
Yeah, absolutely. You spend all this time. I talked to you guys back at the combine, and it's been an eternity. It takes forever. You get through that last game, and it's just you go, okay, spring, yeah, okay, that's nice. First 4 days, okay, it's good, but inevitably, some of these guys you get really excited about, half of them fall right away when you put pads on. And then the other ones are what you think they are. So that's when you really get a true evaluation, right, is the pads. So we got 2 good days. We just hit down day, and then we're going 2 more really good ones coming up.
Last year when we were here, you had to chill practice because they were applying lots of contact to each other. I'm sure they're the same.
Yeah, they are. It's good, man. We like our guys. It's a salty group, and they know what it's about. But I feel like we've handled it. We do have a lot of young guys, but I feel like the core of this team is very mature, man. So they know how to handle their business, get after it, but be smart too.
So, yeah, we were talking about that earlier. It is a very veteran team, certainly like in the 2 deep. Go out there and with intention, you sign a bunch of veteran players in case you have an injury, guys that are ready to step up and ready to go, and like guys that were former first-round picks that still feel like they have something to go out there and prove.
Yeah, and I would say that there's a difference between a veteran player and a hungry veteran player.
Yep.
All right, and we got hungry veteran players. So, look, we got a guy like Devin White, man. We signed him a couple of days ago, and Kelvin Shepard's got a relationship with him. And look, man, he's had some good years in this league, and so we wanted to kick the tires on him. Good. And look, he hadn't been here long, but I know this: he's caught our eye.
Yeah.
Penny Sewell said this. This is for the listeners. You said it, but he said it too. Dan sets a standard, and if you don't meet it, you won't be here long. And then he followed that up with, there is no gray area. I think philosophy of you is always important to remind these listeners of how you see how we practice here, how we respond to learning, everything that goes on, and how long does it take you to figure out who doesn't belong here?
It doesn't take that long. It really doesn't. But we try to be so meticulous with, our player acquisition, man, between the draft and certainly free agent signing, all of those. We try to do our due diligence so we don't get caught in a bad spot where you're vested in a guy that you may have to get rid of because he didn't meet the standards, Because, look, a lot of times I don't have to do anything. I mean, I will, but the core of this team, I mean, they're going to handle it.
And your reputation precedes it now. We talk to players. They want to come here. They know what they're getting into if they come see you.
Well, look, it's important for me and the staff. There is no gray, man.
Right.
There is no gray because gray is where people play slow. There's indecision. There's you don't have confidence. You don't, man. Give them the answers, and it's very clear. And guess what? If there ends up being a gray that is not by you, that's on us, man.
Yeah.
That's on me. That's on the coaches. Cut it loose and go play. Apply your rules. But yeah, we got a standard here, and everybody.
I got to pause right there. I got to pause right there because what he just said clears Brad Holmes of anything. Okay? Listen carefully to what Dan Campbell just said.
It's very clear. And guess what? There is no gray, man.
Right.
There is no gray because gray is where people play slow. There's indecision. There's you don't have confidence. You don't, man. Give them the answers, and it's very clear. And guess what? If there ends up being a gray that is not by you, that's on us, man.
Yeah.
That's on me. That's on the coaches. Cut it loose and go play. Apply.
There you go. If there's a gray, and what he means by that, he's not talking about gray aliens. He could be. I don't know. But what he means is if there's a gray on the team, if there's a guy playing slow, if there's a guy not learning, if there's a guy not gelling, if there's a guy not fitting in, it's not because of anybody else but me and the coaches. It's not because of Brad. It's not because of anybody else. We didn't do our job on the field with the guys. So I think that I may be reaching a little bit, but I feel like this absolves Brad on his ability to go out and find guys because so far, I mean, the guy has knocked it out of the park. You can't even shake a stick at what he's done draft-wise and free agent-wise. You're going to have a few that fall out. It's normal. It's called breakage. It happens in every business. Every single, I don't care what the business is. I don't care if it's a candle shop. 10% of those candles are going to get stolen or broken. It's called breakage. 10% of your football team is just not going to work out. In some teams, it's a lot more. But in Brad Holmes' case, it's way less. So that's a great statement by Dan Campbell.
By your rules. But yeah, we got a standard here, and everybody. Look, I can't ask Penei Sewell to make sure his weight is in check and he's in shape, and St. Brown and freaking Hutch and Branch and Golf and all these guys, and then we have somebody else that's not one of them that's not going to do it right. It's not fair to everybody, and they're the ones who set the standard, and it's my job to uphold it.
I told you this at the Combine. I mean, your team, I always use the tagline, too gritty to be pretty. Like, you got to be ready to go from Jump Street on this team. So for you evaluating a younger player, how do you go about the process to say, I know this guy's going to fit into our culture? Because, like you said, they're going to get weeded out if they don't.
Yeah, I just, man, look, we're all about competition, man, and the tape never lies. And, for example, we've talked about it in the draft, man. Just you can turn on the tape and tell if somebody is competitive, man. If there's somebody that's willing to get after it. I mean, for us, it's as simple as if the bigs run to the ball and your littles are, man, they'll bite, right? They'll hit, man. Your receivers, your DBs, well, there's a starting point. We'll figure it out from the rest. So at least they meet our standard there, and then we'll coach them up. And I'll say this, the hardest thing about a young guy when you're trying to develop them like this time of year is, they're in survivor mode, a lot of them. there's a lot on them, but like you go to one-on-one, they're just trying to survive, right? Because they want to win the rep, but they're not using technique. And I tell them all the time, I would much rather you do what we're asking you and you lose 10 in a row. But do what we're asking you to do, because in the long run, it's going to allow you to be able to compete against a good player, man.
That's a great point.
So that's the hardest thing. But if you can get them there, man, that's where they really grow and develop.
Let's talk about Tyleik Williams then, because you were very complimentary the other day of him. And, I'm sure you put some parameters on what's expected when you come back.
Listen, my team rules are very simple, all right? And,
Show up.
Well, don't be late. Don't be overweight. Don't disrespect your teammates or this game. That's it.
Yeah.
That is it. Those are the only rules. I don't give them a whole rule book on this and this and that. We don't do that. That's it. That's all you got to do. If as long as you handle those 4, we're going to have a problem. So a guy like Tyleik, man, I love this about him, man. He recognized that he was a little bit heavy. All right, he showed up 2 weeks before the off-season program began, knowing, man, I gotta get this in check. All right, and we sat down up in my office, and our nutritionist got with him, and man, that kid attacked it. He attacked it, and man, he dropped well over 35 pounds and made his weight here in front of everybody. Crushed the conditioning test, and I told him, now you've invested in the bank of trust now,
right?
And respect. So your teammates see that, we see that, and all of a sudden, man, and then the kid's confidence goes up, and so I'm proud of him, man. It's awesome.
Nice.
Dan, I know you have to appreciate the way football's going. I mean, tight ends had a year in the draft and free agency. Seems like teams are stacking tight ends, trying to 12, 13 personnel. And look, and obviously, you're still going to have 11 personnel out there, but it seems like the game's kind of getting back to, hey, we want to keep it in between the hashes a little bit. We want to play in a phone booth.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's going to that because you get a lot more predictable defenses, know. And if you got guys that can run, that can block a little bit, they can do everything. Everybody wants 3 or 4 Laportas. Everybody
That'd be
wants
nice.
those.
Right? Yeah. I'm not greedy. I'll take 1 or 2.
Guys.
But if you can find some guys that are versatile in that manner, man, now you can do whatever you want. They want to bring out nickel, you can hammer the football, man. They want to stay in base. Now, not only are you getting pretty good matchups, but you're getting more predictable defense. There's only so much they can run. And that's why it is. Now, I'm thinking we're going to go 11 linemen on the field just to create this new trend, all right?
Hey, can we get a fullback in there? Just like one?
Dude, listen, I'm with you. I love the fullback. Fullback's hard to find.
It is. We talked about that earlier.
They don't exist anymore.
The last 2 teams had 2 each.
Man, I'm telling you, they're hard to find.
Yeah. And you got to be a war daddy on special teams, too.
Yes.
Yeah, you have to be.
Yes. And
you're right about hard to find. Everyone's spread out in one-back sets.
Man, it's crazy. I'm telling you, it's for how this game has evolved. It's a beautiful thing, and it's explosive. It's speed. It's all these. But at the end of the day, the hardest thing to find that you absolutely need is a blocking tight end.
Yep.
And if you can find a fullback, man, that's something that can be. That can be a mismatch for you because there's so many things. Nobody sees 2 back anymore.
No.
They don't know how to fit it. And
a linebacker's never done it in his life, probably, if he's.
Dan, you better not go out and get a fullback, bro. I get it. I know what he's trying to say. I hate the fullback position. Give me an extra linebacker. Give me an extra tight end that can be a fullback. I loved Mike Allstott. Like, that dude was incredible, right? Schlesinger, incredible. But that's old school football to me. I get that they're trying to bring it back a little bit, but you can be just as successful with having really good tight ends like they were talking about earlier. And you can also be very successful by taking Malcolm Rodriguez and parking him back there as an H-back and letting him go out there and block. And yeah, you could probably have him tote the rock around the goal line too. So I'm totally good on the fullback, but you watch. We'll have a fullback at cuts.
Young player.
Yes, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
And they cheat with undersized guys on defense.
Yes.
Just to rush the passer.
Yes.
I love what you said about a blocking tight end, though, because you know this. When you have that guy,
he has to buy fully into, that's my role in this team. I'm going to be a wide tight end. I'm going to have 3 fingers in the ground, and that's my role in this team. I might not catch touchdowns. I might not catch passes, but I'm going to be a mauler. I'm going to impose my will on this guy across from me.
That's exactly right. Look, Coach Parcells said it all the time, man. You need to know who you are.
Yep.
Don't put limitations on yourself, but at the same time, you better know who you are.
Yep.
And whatever that is, you better be great at it.
Right.
And, look,
we
got one here,
it.
man. Brock Wright, rookie free agent out of Notre Dame in 21. He was part of this whole crew. We drafted all these guys. He was one of the last ones in the building as a free agent, and here he is, man, still with us.
Yep.
And he's as dependable as you're going to find, man. He's tough as nails.
I want to try to get you excited. Aleem McNeil, how's he doing?
Yeah, I love
Come
Matt,
on.
dude. That's
Hey, I remember the fight in Philadelphia about him at the draft.
Oh, man.
There was someone who wanted him badly, and they went the other way. God bless them. But
I'm with you. Listen, Aleem, he's another guy. I mean, here we are. We're 6 days in, 2 days in pads, and we haven't been able to block him very good just yet. So and I'll tell you one of the biggest things. First of all, you do all these cut-ups, right, and you watch back-to-back plays in the spring when you're cleaning everything up, scheme-wise, this and that. And what we noticed was, man, he's favoring the leg a little bit. Like, you couldn't really tell week to week, but all of a sudden you start going through some of these where he's getting doubled, and he didn't even know it. Like, he wasn't even aware of it.
Yeah.
And because he never made an excuse ever. And he looks 100% healthy, and he's explosive. And I tell you what I love. We had a pretty good one yesterday. All right.
smile on his face. This is a radio show. Smile on his face, guys.
Yeah, now I'm even more jealous.
We had a pretty good one, and we put some reps on them. Man, they start getting tired and fatigued. And I tell you what, he's still blowing stuff up. That's some of the biggest improvement out of him is, man, being able to wreck shit when you're tired.
Yep.
Excuse my language.
That's all right.
We're good. We're satellite. You're good.
Connect him and how he's doing to evaluating the 2 centers you got here.
Well, listen, it's the, and I tell all those, hell, I tell Tate Ratledge, I tell Kate, all those guys, you're fortunate to have a guy like Aleem McNeil here because, man, if you can block him, you can block anybody in this league. I believe that. And so I would say those guys are holding their own. I'm glad we got Cade, man. He's still a work in progress just with our scheme calls. He's grown so much since spring, you know. But, man, we like him. Those guys are starting to kind of gel here. We're getting better. We got a long way to go, but it's good right now.
Good.
Coach, you got a roster that's got a lot of stars, and they deserve to be talked about. One that doesn't get talked
All right, let me pause real quick. So, a lot of hate on Aleem McNeil this year. I don't know why. Some, those CT guys, those WS take a shit sports guys. I mean, a lot of them hating on Aleem McNeil. I'm not trying to call anybody out, and it's not just them. It's a lot of fans. It's a lot of chatter on X, and it's usually a lot of chatter in a lot of their comment section. But the point I'm trying to make is, why is there so much hate on Aleem McNeil? Why do people discredit what this guy is all about? He was injured last year, and there was a point where he was favoring his leg, and he was injured. So he didn't play that well. But now when he's back to full health and he's been in the league a while and he understands things and he's playing at a high level already, you got to love that everybody else is tired and Aleem is not. You have to love that because that means he's able to go deeper and longer, right? You'll never forget what Dan Campbell said in the very beginning, that they're going to take everyone out to deep water. That's exactly what Aleem McNeil is doing right now. He's taking people out he's taking players out to deep water. And he's still swimming. And they're barely got their head up above water. And he's, like he said, he's still blowing shit up. Right? You gotta love it. You gotta love it because Aleem McNeil right now, and Tyleik Williams too, like that is a massive statement that Tyleik comes in overweight, gets with a nutritionist, drops 35, adds some muscle, and he's out there blowing it up. Tyleik looks incredible. Look, the one day I was at camp and the snippets that I've seen and the conversations that I've had and what I predicted about Tyleik last year was that he was going to end up becoming one of the best defensive tackles in this league, and it could be this year. It very well could be. when you have this many good players on this defensive line, like this defensive line is set up to dominate. Now, does that mean every single play they're going to dominate? No. Does that mean that they're going to have some lapses here or there? Every player does. It's the NFL. You're not going to win every rep. But I will guarantee you that when these guys stay healthy throughout this season, we're going to see a different defense than we've ever seen. This will be probably the best defense we've ever had. And this will be the third year in a row that I've said that. The first year was 100% right. The second year was 100% right because we ended up having no starters in, really. We had Jack. And then the secondary was pretty healthy. And that was it. And we still went 15-2. Yeah, some of our metrics fell off, but man, we were still cruising. You don't win 15 games by luck. Playing a first place schedule. You just don't. And this year, going up against the fourth place schedule, not that it matters, because on any given Sunday, any one of these teams can beat you. This defense is going to crush it. Absolutely crush it. And it's because of players like Tyleik Williams, and it's because of players like Ali McNeil that are in such good shape, and they are ready to roll. And I love the statement, how he earned, the bank of trust, but it wasn't just with Dan Campbell. It was with the rest of the team. That this is what it's all about. This is the standard that we set. You're going to come in and do exactly what we need you to do without even asking you. I love it. And you wonder why Brad Holmes drafts the players that he drafts, brings in the players that he brings in. It's because that standard is not for everybody. It's not. There's a lot of players out there that just want to do their own thing, right? They're only worried about them. They're only worried about, their targets. They're only worried about their stats. They're not worried about the team. Those are teams that usually don't play well, right? They usually don't finish well. They don't win a lot of ball games. Not this team.
Talked about it enough, at least for our opinion. We talk about him a lot, is Jack Campbell.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to talk to him. We're going to have him a little bit later on. That's a player that right in the middle of your defense, you better be ready because he is bringing it.
He is bringing it. And it was funny because we set up this kind of tackle drill, this tackle box, we do every year. And so we go back and we're watching over the last, call it 3 years, man, just to pull some clips, make sure we're good as coaches before we show the players. And there's so I pulled the year before, right? Jack looks like he was 10 pounds heavier. He's massive, right?
Yeah.
He looks like he's 260, okay? And then the year before that, he looks like he's 275. He's even bigger, right? And you're like, man, and you look at him now, he's still a big man, and he can run, but he's really leaned up. He's lost a little bit, and he's still the thumper. He can run, man. He plays, 3 steps ahead of everything now with where he's at.
His height, you typically don't see the kind of bend that he has either.
Oh, man.
Like for me, typically when I was playing fullback, I see a 6'4", 6'5" guy, I'm licking my chops. But that guy, his leverage, he always wins. Little man always wins. And when you're 6'5", that's hard to do.
He can bend, he can run, and trying to throw daggers over him in some of these drops is a problem because he does. He's got reach. He's aware. And look, he's got full reign of this defense now. Shep has given it to him.
Yep.
And we're putting a lot on him, and he's handled it beautifully so far.
Jump into the secondary. You've got some injuries, we get it, but you've also brought people in here, and guys like Rocky Sin have done some nice things for you. When I saw him coming here, I go, he's going to love this guy.
I do love Rock,
I can tell. I can draft for you because I know who I would never bring in this building.
Yeah, same.
Man. Rock. Yeah, listen, I love those DBs, man. We Rock is all about what we're about. He's tough, he's physical, and it's all the little, okay, you do all this, man, you're a DB, you want to cover a little bit, man, he wants to mix it up, but then, go watch him in special teams drills, man. He's running our gunner drills, man. He's running punt return hold up is one of the jammers, and he doesn't take plays off. It's like he's a rookie again, trying to earn a job. It's just beautiful. You wish everybody would just, some of these guys would understand that and just watch a guy like him, man. And he's tough. We got a young guy right now, man, that has made plays every day. All right, I call him Ironsides. It's Whitesides, number 38.
Yeah.
So he's special teams every day, and I tell you what, at corner, there's something there. So we'll see. I know it's early. Rakestraw finally got him healthy.
Right.
Good.
You know, we got a lot of high hopes for him. We got Reed back now off of injury last year. He looks good. So it's a good room, you know, and it's there's a lot of competition in there.
That's
All right.
you.
I'm going to be selfish with my last question for Coach here because this is one guy I want to know this answer to. Anytime I get around my old teammates, it's like, hey, if you had one more play in football, what would it be? For me, it's I formation, 20-30 ISO. Let me dig the Mike linebacker out, get head placement inside, and see if the running back can hit his head on the goalpost. For you, going back to your playing days, if you get one more play, what is it?
Yeah, well, I was always partial to. I loved running power out of the overfront, and everybody played a 6 technique back then, and just mano-a-mano, one-on-one. That was my favorite play of all time. I mean, that was it, because nobody expects much out of tight ends, and especially back then, those ends were big, man. They were big, they were long, and so I always loved that, man. You got a chance to prove yourself, and the run comes behind you, and you're motivated to get out of the way because the guard's coming. So I learned that as a young player.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's right.
Now you're talking about the ISO. Is it ISO draw or true downhill? Because for the fullback, it doesn't matter. It was
matter.
freaking ISO. But for the O-line, maybe there was a little bit of a set.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. We ran it a couple different ways. You know, it's funny. If we had LaDainian Tomlinson, it was more downhill. If it was Sproles, it was more of a draw.
Yeah,
we kind of switch it up a little bit.
Either way, it was ISO.
Either way, for the fullback, I'm 5 yards here, you're 5 yards there. Let's meet in the middle.
If you had 20 rookies and said, "What's ISO mean?" How many of them would know what that meant?
I don't. Maybe one. Maybe.
Yeah, I just aged all of us here. Hey, Coach, you're the man. We appreciate it. We look forward to it every single time. Look forward to the next one as well.
Yeah, great talking to you guys.
It's
always.
awesome.
All right, there he is. Lions head coach Dan Campbell, good enough to join us. We've got more coming your way on SiriusXM, NFL Radio, Channel 88. Radio training camp tour here in Detroit today.
Okay, great stuff there from Dan Campbell. A lot of tidbits, tidbits that you're not going to hear anywhere else unless you have an XM radio subscription, which I buy every year for you guys. Like I listen to it every day. I try to, I scan everything for the Detroit Lions and anything that I can find that I can replay and utilize. I try to give it back to you guys. Now for members, you're going to notice in the membership, things are changing. There's been some things that were changed today to the lower tier, and there's going to be some things that are changing to the other tiers today. One is going to be some access to XM Radio as a member only, and that'll be in member only, podcasts or members only videos or whatever, right? But also, all members, even the $3.99 tier and up, all members are going to get into a drawing every year. It's free. It's a giveaway. 2 tickets to a Detroit Lions game. I did it last year. I'm doing it again this year, but now it's going to be for members only. So every member, you have to be a member for 3 months, and then the drawing is in November. So that means September, October, November. If you're a member between September and November every year, then you will get into the drawing. Just got to be a member for 3 months. So it's what, $12, and you get a shot at $800 worth of tickets. It's a pretty good deal. So it helps out the channel. Obviously, it helps you out with some things too if you win. No guarantee you win, but you've got like a 1 in 100 chance right now until everyone signs up. You have a 1 in 100 chance. So that means like all the gifted memberships and that, if they don't stay, then they don't get a shot. So you have to be 3 months or more in a row to have a shot. So anyway, a lot of good stuff. I see some questions in there by Kurt. He says or asks, who is a player that you think is going to break out this year that's not a superstar, right? So Tyleik Williams is not a superstar yet, right? He's just not. He's one that I think is going to break out this year. And it's a drafted player. Can they only be drafted players? I mean, Jack's already a superstar. He's broken out. J-Mo's, he's not a superstar yet because he didn't make the top 100. He didn't even finish in the top 20 for receivers. So I would say J-Mo could have a pretty solid year this year. What's a breakout? Is a breakout like 1,300 plus yards? 1,400 plus yards? It's going to be pretty tough to get a lot of yardage. Like, I think that, the one year that Amon-Ra St. Brown had, I think, 15 something. That's a lot of yards in this offense today for one receiver because you have so many guys that are getting the ball. You have Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jamison Williams, and Jahmyr Gibbs that are going to eat up. I mean, that's 70% of your targets, at least. Then you got Sam Laporta. That's 80% of your targets for all those guys, maybe 85%. So it's pretty tough for, the lower guys. I think Isaac Tesla will have a breakout year, but I don't think breakout, if I were to identify it, it's not 1,000 yards, right? It's not. But he could have 10 touchdowns. Realistically, he could have 10 touchdowns. I mean, he had 6 last year, 6 or 5 last year. He could easily have 10 touchdowns this year, and that's a breakout year. I don't care if he has 400 yards and 10 touchdowns. I don't care if he only has 40 catches and 10 touchdowns. The scoring matters more than anything else. And situational football is going to put him in a situation to win. So I think if you have one offense, one defense, I would say Tyleik Williams and Isaac Tesla are my 2 players to watch for a breakout season. And again, Tyleik Williams doesn't have to go have 10 sacks. He doesn't even have to have 6. There's more to playing defensive tackle than stats, right? There was a good statement in the chat earlier. Someone said that, you could watch the film on Ali McNeil and see that, you could credit Ali McNeil for just about every single Aiden Hutchinson sack. And that's pretty true. Like, Aiden cleans him up and gives him a lot of opportunity. Not every opportunity, but he gives him a lot of opportunities. And that's exactly what you want from your interior guys. It's exactly what you want. Hey, look at G Trace. She's been in the elite club now for 23 months. I love it. Appreciate you, Trace. 23 months at the elite tier, by the way. And Trace, I did get more emojis or whatever they're called, emoticons. I don't know. I got more loaded or done. I just got to get them loaded up when I finish updating. So Trace just checked in, man. 23 months on the elite club level. We still have Aiden Hutchinson to go through. And Dan Campbell, I mean, he's such a good coach. Like, this is why so many people like myself have gravitated towards Dan Campbell and have gravitated, to a lot of things that he says, a lot of things that he does, the way that he acts, the things that he demands. I've tried to idolize a few things and use it in my own life. And it's because he's such a great motivator. Anytime you can find somebody that you can look up to, right, and utilize as a motivator, it can really help you out. And Dan has done that over the years, not just as a fan, but just as the way that he conducts, business and the way that he, expects certain things from his guys. And maybe it's just because I have a, sports, background, but even if I didn't, I think that I would tune into Dan Campbell. Even if I wasn't a Lions fan, I would probably tune into Dan Campbell because every time he talks, man, it's no BS, no gray areas, right? No BS. And I love it. I think that's why this team responds. And I think that's why this team will they get better and better every year, number one. But number two, they're always ready. And they're willing to do anything to get the W. He said it about Brock Wright, probably the best, where he said, you have to know who you are, right? Don't sell yourself short, but you have to know who you are. And when you know who you are in this game, it's easier to define your role and then go execute in your role. And for a guy like Brock Wright that, hey, yeah, I'm not going to get a ton of targets. I'm not going to get a ton of touchdowns. But I'm going to go smear that guy, and Jahmyr Gibbs is going to go walk into the end zone, and I helped that, right? I was responsible for that. Every player on the field is needed, and every player has a job to do. And if they do their job, that is when this team is successful. So just because he's out there blocking mostly and erasing those linebackers, and get into the third level and you're racing the corners and safeties, like that's his role. That's his job. And there's nothing wrong with that. And then every once in a while, you're going to hear Dan Miller screaming Brock Wright 50 times because he just went downfield for a 64-yard touchdown. Or a 30-yard touchdown, or 30-yard grab, I mean. It happens every year. So I always look forward to Brock Wright's play. It's his last year of his deal. I'm surprised they didn't get him a new deal yet, but maybe next year the Lions are going to go heavy on tight ends in the draft. They're going to have to, actually. They're going to have to. I don't have any UDFA guys right now that I can really call breakout because they have to make the squad first. Nick Whiteside is the guy that is breaking out right now. I think that Ennis Rakestraw is close. He's close. He still has, like he's in his real first year right now. Even though it's his third season, he's really in his first year. And, man, if he could have just had all of last year, I think Ennis is going to be fine. I think that this season is going to take Ennis to that next level. And next year, I think that you're going to see an even better Ennis Rakestraw. So I love where he's at right now. I love where he's competing. And in just about every clip and what I saw, again, on Sunday, I mean, Rake has just been all over the field. Making plays, staying in the receiver's back pocket, staying tight, in phase, mirror matching well. I mean, what else do you want from the guy? He has to clean up a couple of things, and that is his anticipation and getting his hands up into the catch point and disrupting the catch point a little bit better. And now you have more PBUs than catches against. He'll get there. He's showing every effort in practice that he has the tools and he has the willingness to learn to be able to get it done. And I think that Ennis is going to take a big step forward this year. But, man, Nick Whiteside is really – Nick, again, I had the dates wrong. Like, I thought he was with us for 2 years. I thought it started in 24, but it was 2025. And he really impressed last year. I thought he had a shot last year. Again, another young guy that just didn't get a chance. Ahmed Hassanin is on a breakout right now. And Tyler Lacy might be the biggest breakout right now of anybody. Legit. Like, we expect Ali McNeil to do his thing. We, like you said, not a superstar. So we expect Amon-Ra to do his thing. We expect Penei Sewell. We expect Jared Goff. We now expect Jahmyr Gibbs. Right? But guys like Tyler Lacy snaked off, waivers last year on August 27th is now one of the biggest performers in camp. And then you have Ali McNeil that's in the best shape of his life, and Tyleik Williams in the best shape of his life, and Ali McNeil causing chaos in every play. I mean, you got 3 studs now up on that defensive line. Studs that are able to move. It's not DJ Reader. DJ Reader took up the most double teams of anybody last year on that defensive line. Now you have guys that can move and stack and shed and then get beyond the block and help these linebackers, stay clean to fit, either the run game or to get back into the backfield. So we got players all over the field, man. Give it another week. Give it another week, and I think it's going to start to really thin out. Players are going to start to separate themselves a little bit more. So it'll start to thin out a little bit. Let's take a listen to Aiden Hutchinson. This one's about 9 minutes, so I'm probably going to start, and I'm definitely going to try to speed it up here.
With the Lions, going to be joined now by edge rusher Aiden Hutchinson. Hutch, we appreciate your time, man. Thanks for hopping on with us.
Man, thanks for having me, guys.
Man, look, we got to start off actually kind of off the field. That walkout you did with Morgan Wallen, that looked electric, my man. How was that? I mean, right before you go to training camp, I know, so you got football on the mind, but like one night you get to walk out to a place you're very familiar with and get to hear some good music.
Yeah, that was that actually came together like a day or two before the concert happened.
Yeah.
Because it was I was just trying to get my people to just push it and see if we could get it to work. And then Wednesday night I found out I'm walking out for the Friday night show. And, man, they set us up with a suite. I got to see Morgan kind of in the
Hold up. We got to check in. Cynthia DL just joined the Lions faithful. Hey, welcome in to the membership group, and appreciate you. So check the members only chat in all the posts, and you'll get kind of caught up. There's a members Voxer chat. You just have to download Voxer on your phone. I'll resend the link tonight when I'm done, and I'll put a couple of updates in the posts. So any new members coming in can see a newer post on what to do if you want to join. So appreciate you joining us, and let's just keep on doing let's just keep on doing what Jamo says.
Stacking.
All right, here we go.
That locker room, they tricked out. The Michigan locker room looked like they had nice couches,
Like,
guitars everywhere. I was
where
like,
was
man,
all
this
this?
looks. We should turn it into that right now. But no, it was cool, man. I never seen an artist that close to going out. He was freaking stretching out, listening to music, getting going, and it was fun to witness.
Yeah. Nice. It's all like football anyway. Who did I see once? And he had a whiteboard in his changing room with his schedule of everything he was going to do for the concert. And I looked at it and said, this just looks like an itinerary for a game day.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, he definitely had that football approach a little bit when he was getting ready and stretching out and just doing the whole thing. But, man, he killed it. The concert was sick.
Very cool. Glad you got to have that before you go to training camp, because once training camp comes, we know it's shut the door, lock it, throw away the key.
That's right.
It sounds like that's what y'all did a little bit yesterday. We are very jealous and sad that we missed a very physical day yesterday. Pads were popping, I hear.
Yeah, they were. They always, the first time you're kind of putting on pads for the year, you got that a little bit of butterfly feeling. Yeah. It's like new year, kind of wipe the slate clean of whatever happened last year, good or bad. And man, it was great. It's good to get these reps. I mean, me personally, it's like you can condition as much as you want in the off season, but it's like until you get those pads on, the weight, the sweat, the water, everything like hanging down on you, then you're doing tempo. It's like those are very valuable reps to have to continue to grow that conditioning to kind of get you in football shape.
Yep. Let's talk about Kelvin, your defensive coordinator, and his impact on you personally, and how this team comes together defensively under his leadership.
Yeah, Shep is he's intense, as you guys. I'm assuming
he was my college teammate
at LSU.
Yeah.
Hold on, before we get into Shep, big shout out. We got Kurt's Harthorn. Hold on, we got some gifts in here. Hold on. Kurt's Harthorn just sent a goat trophy. Thank you, man. Appreciate you for doing that. He also sent in a couple other gifts. We're just going to ring the bell a few times. Appreciate you, man. I love the support of the channel. Can't thank you guys enough. Let's get back into Aiden here. He talked about Shep the other day, and if you remember, my comments the other day was not the greatest. I was getting accused of being controversial or whatever. I wasn't trying to be controversial, but I felt like Aiden said some things about Shep the other day. Just maybe didn't sit right, but maybe he just worded it wrong. I'm like on the edge right now, just waiting to hear what he's gonna say.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, I'm sure he hasn't changed. He has not changed. He strikes me as the guy who doesn't change for anybody. So, no, he's super fierce, and man, he has that ability to command a room, and that's what makes him so enticing. I think as a coach, and man, I think his ability to adjust from what I've seen from the start of last year to where we're at now is the biggest growth I've seen in him. And he's a guy that's not afraid to drop his pride and say, hey, like, look, this was a bad call. That's on me. Aiden, we're not going to put you in that situation.
Yeah.
BB, Kirby, we're not going to put you in that. We're going to adjust. We're going to do it. And I think by the end of last year, I felt like we were really all clicking on the same page. So I'm just hoping we can continue. That's how the game of football is. It's a constant evolution. Someone may figure out your tendency, then you go, okay, they see that. Let's now move it farther. It's that snowball. You just keep on rolling.
Yep.
Good. Nice.
This is a team that is very talented, got a lot of veteran players, but there's some young guys that I think we're all excited to see. And I know you have to appreciate Derek Moore being on the team now because, look, he's going to be in your room, but also he went to Michigan, right? So you got that connection there. I have to imagine he's been in your back pocket
all right, trying to learn the ways, and now you've got a young guy you can mentor and also be out on the field at the same time.
Yeah, I think he's going to be a stud, man. He's got the makings for it. Mentally, just his physical toughness out there. He's a guy that will just throw his head down and get in there, whatever it takes. But he's also got the finesse that comes with that. So I'm really excited to see how he continues to progress and develop. And rookie year is going to have its ups and downs. It's going to be as pretty much everybody's rookie year does. But I think in the long term, I think he's got it. He's got what it takes to be great.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to – you can clarify this to me, but didn't you go against Penei Sewell every day in practice?
You saying this year?
No, last year. Are you seeing him as much as you used to see him in
Well, it's
in
good
drills
because
and stuff?
we used to obviously battle it out on the defensive left, and now he's on the offensive left tackle, so the defensive right. I have an amazing opportunity to get better on the right now because for years I've been playing, even at Michigan, I've been on the left for a long time. And so as you can imagine, your hips get a little bit used to flipping a certain way, doing that. And so especially last year, I really tried to get more reps on the right so I can be more versatile in how I rush on the right and really make everything look the same. But now having a guy of that caliber over there, and for me, it's like I use practice as an opportunity to grow and evolve my own game, and so I see that as a perfect opportunity I can get my right side feeling that much better by the time we get to the season. So I've been trying to get as many reps as I can on the right side to get that, and I'm going against a great player too.
And he's working on the same. His punch hand's different,
right?
He's got the same transfer of how your body works.
For sure. And I was talking to him the other day because he was asking me, what's he see? What am I seeing a little bit? If it's different, I'm like, dude, it's unbelievable how seamless this transition is. Even playing, going against him now, man, it really does feel so similar. And you would never imagine this dude's been playing right tackle for the past however many years, and now he's on the left, and it's man, he is. That just goes to show how great of an athlete he is, and how great he is
the two of you
to adjust.
The two of you, it's interesting. That's why I brought it up, because I said some guys can't do it. They don't even like the stance they get in.
Right.
And everything is wrong, and then all of a sudden you got to make it right. But I was thinking these two guys are kind of learning.
Exactly. It's a good thought, because it's something that I've been trying to put an emphasis on the last couple of years, is rushing more on the right, because there's some guys that can really only rush on a certain side, and that can, chippers, you kind of know the slide, the offenses kind of know where you're going to be at, so it makes it a little more predictable. So, man, I'm getting super valuable reps. I'm trying to get as many as I can.
Now, let's be honest. You go over to the left side and let young player Blake Miller know, hey, I'm still over here, right?
Yeah, this is still my OG side.
Okay,
over
all
here.
right.
Yeah, it's good. I think
can't let the rookies get too comfortable.
Of course. And Blake, he's learned. I think he's got the good base of being able to be a great player in this league. I think it's just all first rounders have the potential, right? You kind of see it. I see it in him, but it's just a matter of, okay, are they going to develop and take that next step in the years to come? So that's kind of will be something to look for. But they're trying to get him going along, and I think he's doing a good job from my perspective. He's coming along.
Inside on the defensive line, McNeil, we love him, but I want to hear about Williams and what's going on with Tyleik Williams.
Again, it's Tyleik. You talk about first rounders, guys. It's that rookie year. If you're a first rounder or not, it's tough. And so seeing him being at nose now, and really having a year under his belt, he's it gets me so fired up when I'm out there with this defensive line, especially Tyleik, seeing his growth. And really, I feel like his passion for the game is even more now that he kind of knows, okay, this is what the NFL is. Right. This is what I have to expect. These are the blocks I'm going to get. Let's just play fast. And he's so powerful, so flexible, that once he kind of has that base knowledge, in which he has now, he can just go. And, man, I think him and Aleem are going to be really fun to watch this year.
All right, there he is, Aiden Hutchinson, good enough to join us here. Aiden, we appreciate the time, man.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate
All right, we will step away. We've got much more coming your way here from Detroit, Sirius XM, NFL Radio, Channel 88.
The training camp
So there's a major takeaway that I have from his conversation there, and I don't know why I didn't think about this at all. It didn't even dawn on me that now that you have Panay on the left and Aiden's working more on his right side against Panay, how much better that will make Aiden on the right side. And what they said, I mean, yeah, because his punch arm's different. When you're on the right side, you typically punch it with the right arm. When you're on the left side, you typically when you're on the left side, you're punching with the left. When you're on the right, you're punching with the right. So now Sewell's got things that he had to learn, right? I mean, he had to relearn how to anchor. He had to relearn his footwork, and now he has to learn how to punch again with a different hand. But the nice part about this is Aiden's going to get extra work against an all-pro best tackle in the league on the right side, whereas before he wasn't getting, I mean, yeah, he was going up against Decker every once in a while, I'm sure, but Decker's not Panay Sewell. But here's what just epiphany moment, right? Because now you got to think that Panay Sewell just developed a crazy good punch on the right side of this offensive line. And now he's going to work on the left side. He'll be able to punch with both arms with equal physicality or equal power, I should say, as where before maybe he didn't need to, wasn't required of him because it's not needed as much on the right side of the line. Very interesting development that I didn't even consider until I just heard it. His comments about Calvin Shepard. Look, I think that we all knew Calvin Shepard was a man that believed in doing things the right way. He tells you that all the time. And the fact that he admits his wrongs and admits that, if he had a bad call or, bad play, I don't think that that's really growth for Calvin, but maybe Aiden seeing that a little bit more, great. But I would say that Calvin has always come to the podium and said, if I made a mistake, I'm going to own it. And when he's going to make mistakes. Every coach is going to make a mistake. Every coach is going to make a bad call. That is where the players have to be able to communicate. It's a fine line. Communicating is different than, just disagreeing with a coach. It's a fine line to be able to, communicate. See, this is where Calvin Shepard has full trust in Jack Campbell, and now you've heard where Jack Campbell has the full run of the defense. Like, he's out there calling the defense. He's doing everything. Doesn't even need Calvin. You remember last year they were talking about that. Calvin mentioned that at some point Jack is just going to be able to run this defense without me, and that's where they wanted to get. It doesn't mean that Shepard's not in his ear. It doesn't mean that they're not talking during plays, but Jack knows how to get this defense rolling. And he knows how to get them all, in the right call. So huge trust development this year on the defense. And again, you're at a point now where this defense has about 3 years working together, 2 years now with Tyleik Williams, multiple years 5 years with Ali McNeil, 4 years with Aiden Hutchinson. Was it the third year for Brian Branch when he gets back? Malcolm Rodriguez has been around for 5 seasons. Who else on the defense has been around a while? I mean, Rocky Sin's been there 2 years now. Vontae Maddox, 2 years. Kirby Joseph, 5 years. There's a lot of continuity there. These guys understand each other, and that's why I think that this defense is going to take a huge leap forward this year. So we listened to Jared, we listened to Aiden, we listened to Dan. And I think that's all I have on the XM side of things today. I just posted the post in the members only chat, so you have the Voxer link in there. Please do not share the Voxer link with anybody. It's only for members. I do go in once a month and try to look at who's still in there and if they're still a member. I don't catch them all, but the Voxer Blue Zone chat is just for members only. on DetroitFootballJournal.com. All subscribers on DetroitFootballJournal.com can join in the chat there at any time. And you guys can start your own chats and do whatever you want. I kind of made it wide open. So take advantage of it. Take full advantage of it. Next up, I do want to get into one more media session, I think, and that was with Cade Mays. And we got Devin White's media session. That can't be the second one, is it? I thought he already did one. Maybe they just have his at the top because they're highlighting his. But let's take a listen to Cade Mays. I'll pull the video in. Let's hear what he had to say. Damn, Cade, you're not centered, buddy. What's going on? It is so hard to type with all these Band-Aids on my fingers. I'm typing like all the wrong words. Nothing is spelled right. Can't feel the keys. All right, here we go. Cade Mays.
Well, obviously, this is kind of a system that's been in place for a number of years.
Yep.
Jared's pretty familiar with it coming in. How has that process been of kind of picking up and trying to get to his level,
Yeah, it's been good. Just taking it day by day, leaning on him, letting him help me where, I have questions. And Hank's done a great job getting me up to speed, and Panay, everybody in the room, any questions I have, they've all been great helping me.
You feel like that's been pretty smooth? You feel like you got a handle on it?
Yeah, absolutely.
What are the big differences that you've noticed so far between Carolina and Detroit, just kind of how they practice?
So far, weather. It's a lot hotter in Carolina than it is up here, but same thing. I mean, camp's a grind, and just working on coming out here and getting better every day.
Is the system any more or less intricate or complicated than it was in college or in Carolina?
I wouldn't say so. Just different terminology. Figuring out, what we call it here versus what we called it in other places. So.
We're the young quarterback, obviously, in Carolina. What's been the difference working with a guy that's been in the league, 10 years, that's kind of seen it all? Has that been a little bit easier of an approach?
I wouldn't say easier. Both guys do a great job at what they do. And obviously Jared, he's a lot further along in his career, so I'd say he's learned a few things that Bryce hasn't. And so just seeing things and just he's really mastered this offense. He's been here so long, and he's very intricate in what he knows. So
how much easier does that make your job? Just with a veteran guy like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes my job easy. He's anything that I might not see, he's on top of it.
That quarterback-center relationship is obviously crucial. The things that you guys can do, you and Jared can do off the field to help smooth that out as much as on the field?
Oh yeah, I mean we've done dinner and getting together every chance we can, and just relationships outside of football just make it stronger when you're out here in football. So.
What did you guys eat?
We went to some place in Birmingham in OTAs. I'm drawing a blank, but it was good. Got a steak. It was good.
Did you guys do any work before OTAs or training camp?
Yeah, before OTAs, just getting together and talking through things and what he likes, how I see things, how he sees things, and just got the ball rolling.
A lot of changes on the offensive line. What's the process going to be like just to develop that chemistry, and how long do you expect it to take?
Yeah, just getting reps with guys. You can't put a timeline on it. Just we come out here. We get reps with everybody during Indy, everybody during team. So just getting that continuity and make it to where you don't even notice who's next to you. You just, everybody's one.
First day with pads, just how did you feel that continuity from what you guys have been doing up to this point kind of translated over?
Yeah, we communicated good. It's just, those first day pad jitters that, you got to knock the rust off and get back to speed. But, it was good. Communicated good, and we'll just keep getting better from here.
What's the challenge of coming into a new organization as a center because of how important that position is from a communication
Yeah, just understanding how they want everything communicated, and obviously learning a new offense and how to get everybody on the right page. The relationship with the quarterback and the O-line room, just building that.
Does it fall on the quarterback a little bit more initially, and then you kind of take over a little bit more? How does that work?
I wouldn't say so. I mean, it's just we're all working as one. Just however it gets the job done, we're just all trying to get it done.
Okay, the O-line standard here has been pretty high the last few years. How quickly could you sense that?
Yeah, I mean, I knew before I got here. They've had a great offensive line the past few years, and the standard's set. So.
How do you feel the communication? When you're in the set and the bullets are flying, how do you feel the communication is growing between you and the rest of the line?
Yeah, I feel like it's good. It's good. We get on the same page and try to put a hat on a hat. So it's been fun.
Is there anything particular that Hank has been kind of pushing on you in terms of technique, in terms of mentally? What's kind of been the focus so far early on?
Yeah, there's always, plenty of things to get better at. You can focus on multiple things every day to get better at. It's just as a whole, just my game as a whole. This play, this look, this is what we got to do. Hey, tighten up your footwork here, the hands here. It's just every day it's a constant work. So really that's what he's been focusing on.
Is there anybody on the defensive line who's particularly giving you good work?
Yeah, everybody. Aleem, really all the ones. Very talented defensive front seven. We got a good team here.
Besides the vocal communication, are you starting to notice some of the stuff that you don't say out loud that you notice Tate's over here doing this, and I've noticed more and more that Christian does this, and I should fall into that too?
Yeah. You feel things once you play next to dudes for a little while, you know that hey they see this. I know they see it. This is what's going to happen, and it happens. So that comes with the continuity and just seeing how I know this is what he's going to do. So
what is?
Well, there you go, guys. Now you know I'm not full of crap, right? Now you know I'm not full of crap. What did he just say? He just said the exact same thing, kinda, that I've been telling you all this week. The offensive line, it's like a beautiful ballet, man. It's choreography that they have to learn. But the main points that I was saying about the offensive line is they've seen this before. They're communicating well. They know what each other's going to do. They know how they're going to react, right? He just said the same exact thing. And I think it's so valuable to already hear that the offensive line is communicating without any problems. It doesn't mean they're not getting things wrong. Doesn't mean that they don't have any mistakes. Doesn't mean that they don't have things to clean up. Doesn't mean that it was a perfect rep. But last year, it's like one guy was talking French, the other guy was talking Russian, the other guy was talking Spanish, and a couple other guys were talking English, and they couldn't understand anybody. That's what it was under Johnny Moe and them trying to figure out that whole cluster, of a system that just... I'm surprised that even made it into the regular season. It was so bad. Now, you didn't hear about it until the season started, right? You didn't hear about the major issues that were happening until we started to see it on the field. In the game. Which then it's too late. If you're having problems then, it's too late. So, that's great news. It's absolutely great news. And I'm glad that Cade Mays just doubled down on exactly what I've been trying to emphasize as to why this offensive line has a lot of things to work on this year. And when they really start to gel, which it sounds like they already are, that they could do it blind. You could put on blindfolds on these guys and tell them to run a certain play, and they'll be able to do it. I'm surprised Hank Fraley doesn't do that anyway. I'm surprised he doesn't put blinders on these guys. You don't want someone rushing you at the same time, but making them take their steps and see how it works out. Now, you don't want to get anybody injured. I get it. I thought we already listened to Devin White. So I'm going to skip that one. I think we're good on media for today. I think we've gone through plenty. It's been... I think it's been a couple hours now of media. So let me run through my Let me run through my recap of the week. And then we'll get out of here. And Kurt, there's more emoticons or whatever you want to call them, emotes that are coming. All the old ones are still there. I got all new ones coming. And I'll keep the old ones too, but so I'm going to have like monthly ones. It'll say like 1M, 3M, 5M, 6M. And I mean, they're basic, but I'll put them all in place. And then I'm going to have some cool ones that you guys can just throw out everywhere. All right, so let's do it. Week 1, man. 7 full days. The Lions started on July 30th when they started doing, some walkthroughs and that, and started kind of doing their ramp-up period to where they are today. Watch, the yawns are about to happen. That's why I'm starting earlier. I don't want to be yawning throughout this whole thing like I am every night. Week 1 in Detroit Lions training camp, the roster has not been decided. We know that. There's several competitions brewing everywhere, all over the field. And in some positions in those camp battles, I mean, they're trending in certain directions. Nick Whiteside, I don't even have to mention his name multiple times, but we will. Tyler Lacy, where he came out of left field, man, and he's playing exceptionally well. The Lions defense so far has controlled much of the early installation periods. The front has disrupted timing. The linebackers have played fast. The secondary is consistently challenging throws. And that was all before the pads came on. And then in the first padded practice, there was a temporary shift in the advantage. The offensive line started to generate movement. They protected well during individual work, and then they produced some very encouraging results from several players competing for starting and or reserve roles. You had some players that were out, right? We had some players that were, on PUP. We had some players that had not entered practice yet. And then some of those players started to come back after the first few days. The defense, though, the defensive front, they answered during the second padded practice where Lee McNeil, Tyleik Williams, Aiden Hutchinson, Tyler Lacy all consistently affected their run game and put a lot of pressure on the passing pocket in Jared Goff and all the other quarterbacks. Away from the competition, we still have Jahmyr Gibbs and his contract hold-in. It still has remained unresolved. Injuries can change the rep distribution at running back, tight end, edge rusher, linebacker, and safety after multiple injuries have hit the Lions during the first week. The first week has established some main storylines that we're going to talk about. Detroit has a legitimate competition at left guard, right tackle, outside corner, weak side linebacker, and the final receiver positions. It also has several unexpected players forcing their names into the roster conversation for the final 53. I put together a complete position-by-position report. It's not the full report that I've been doing every night, but it's pretty close. For the quarterbacks, there's not much that really needs to be said here. Goff installs the offense while the real competition still remains at quarterback 3. Jared Goff's first week was less about generating practice stats and more about the command of Drew Petzing's system. Detroit has continued introducing shifts, motion, condensed formations, play action, and multiple personnel packages, and Goff has been producing scoring throws and moved the offense during situational periods, but the first unit also left many red zone opportunities unfinished. And a lot of that was because of route adjustments, coverage recognition, and execution errors. All things expected that will be cleaned up in week 2. The offense has not looked fully synced yet, as expected. It's not unexpected during the first week under a new coordinator or new installation. But the compressed areas of the field have exposed where the communication still needs some work. Teddy Bridgewater has remained firmly positioned as the most experienced backup quarterback. His strongest moments include a red zone touchdown to Cedric Wilson and a deep connection with Dominic Lovett that produced an 80-yard touchdown. His experience is apparent when the play breaks structure or the coverage forces the quarterback away from the initial read. The unlikely name is Luke Altmaier. The undrafted rookie has displayed enough arm talent and baseline accuracy to keep Detroit interested. but his processing still remains behind both Jared Goff and Teddy B. He has some missed opportunities. He has been holding the ball a little bit too long and failing to locate open receivers. This is not a legitimate quarterback 2 battle today, but the competition is whether Altmaier can justify a third quarterback position being held over on the roster when the 53 get counted. For you guys, my first question would be, should the Lions carry Altmaier on the 53-man roster or use that position elsewhere and attempt to develop him on the practice squad, assuming that another team doesn't pick him up in waivers? Goff and Bridgewater are established. As much as I don't like Bridgewater as our backup, he has Jared Goff's ear, and Altmaier has a lot of time throughout the preseason to prove that he belongs in a long-term plan. As far as the running backs, it's been all over the place because we've had plenty of injuries, but Jahmyr Gibbs, the hold-in, has created a lot of opportunities, especially for Isaiah Pacheco. That running back room has been shaped by the player who is not even practicing. Gibbs, he's still there in the building, he's attending meetings, and he's watching portions of practice, but he has not participated during the opening week, and that has prevented Detroit from installing its complete offense, especially around the player expected to lead the backfield as the number 1 running back and probably the greatest formation weapon. But Isaiah Pacheco has received the largest share of available first-team work. The early non-padded practices offered limited conclusions, but his burst became more visible after contact increased. He has run decisively, he's made quick decisions, and this is all continued through the first contact and provided Jared Goff with a dependable outlet underneath. Sione Vaki shared a lot of the first-team work before suffering an eye injury and a broken nose. His absence is now combined with Gibbs' hold-in, created an immediate opportunity farther down the depth chart. And then that gave Jacob Sailors a little bit more opportunity. He became the unexpected riser. He produced a run of more than 20 yards and a wheel route touchdown exceeding 40 yards during the first padded session. The following day, he added multiple runs of at least 10 yards and consistently stayed upright through poor tackling attempts. Jabari Small also helped himself. His low center of gravity, lateral movement, and special teams work have kept him involved despite entering camp behind the primary competition. He was an afterthought, like a 5th or 6th running back. But now the Lions have added Raheem Blackshear after Vaki's injury, increasing the competition, but not changing the early order. The primary battle is running back 4. Sailors has generated the strongest offensive argument, while Jabari Small may have a broader special teams path, and it just depends on which path Dan Campbell loves the most. My question to you is, has Jacob Sailors done enough already to become Detroit's 4th running back? Or will special teams give Jabari Small the stronger path? Let me know in the comments below. Isaiah Pacheco has stabilized the top of this unit, especially during the practicing rotation. The competition behind him has become one of camp's fastest moving battles, and all eyes right now on health, right? We've got a game coming up in about 8 days. The Lions are going through a full scrimmage here in about 3 or 4 days, and they need bodies. And right now they don't have the bodies. They don't have Jahmyr Gibbs. They don't have Sione Vaki. And so they have a 3rd and 4th string players out there right now outside of Isaiah Pacheco leading the way. And I don't think you're going to see Isaiah Pacheco taking, 15 carries in a preseason game. Wide receivers. Jamison Williams. He looks more complete as Cedric Wilson starts to change the depth conversation. Jamison Williams has produced the strongest week among the Lions receivers. The speed still remains obvious that it is his biggest threat to defenses. The route development has become the larger story. Williams is using cleaner releases, reaching his breaks with better control, and creating consistent separation on slants and comeback routes. Those routes place corners in conflict, and a defender who aggressively protects against a vertical ball gives Williams access underneath. A defender who sits on the short routes, well, now you're risking a sudden explosive play. Williams has also completed difficult catches in traffic. The remaining concern is concentration. He failed to finish a fourth down opportunity late Tuesday and had another catch broken apart during a red zone opportunity earlier in the week. Last season, Jahmyr Williams had 12 drops, and that is the biggest concern still in camp today. Jamo has missed opportunities that has hit his hands. He's still dropping the ball in practice. That is the one thing he needs to focus on to get fixed in week 2. Or it could end up biting him in a big moment, and the Lions could end up losing a game. I'm on Ross St. Brown. Obviously, he still remains steady Eddie. He's the standard, not only for the room, but for the team. He has continued winning throughout technique, body control, and late hands, giving defensive backs limited opportunity to play the football, even when they remain in position. Isaac Tisla, he's on breakout duty this year. He's encountered some early resistance, though, against physical coverage. It does not erase his role, but Greg Dortch has quickly made the adjustment into this offense and has made the wide receiver 3 distribution worth monitoring. Cedric Wilson Jr. is the unexpected riser. The veteran repeatedly appeared during the first 4 practices, produced a difficult red zone touchdown, and has also shown body control, awareness, and special teams willingness to become the early leader for the 5th wide receiver. Dominic Lovett responded after a very slow start, including the long touchdown from Teddy B. Lucky Jackson has created separation with sharp route work, and then Tay Martin has flashed as a long-frame developmental receiver. The battle is not at the top of this roster. It's Wilson, it's Lovett, it's Jackson, it's Martin, and Tom Kennedy, all fighting over 1 or possibly 2 positions behind the top 4. My question for you is, has Cedric Wilson, the proven vet that apparently Dan Campbell loves, already become the favorite wide receiver 5? And can another receiver force Detroit to keep 6? Williams has been the headline, right? Wilson has been the roster-changing development so far in camp. Offensive line. Blake Miller, Mahogany. They're taking early leads at their position. Frazier becomes the utility answer. Detroit entered camp replacing 3 starters and evaluating 2 open positions. Blake Miller received nearly every first-team rep at right tackle, and then he experienced the expected rookie setbacks, including a difficult rep against Aiden Hutchinson, but consistently returned to the starting lineup when available. He did miss portions of one practice while wearing a compression sleeve on his left leg, but he also returned for the padded portion of that session. Larry Borum, he still remains an experienced alternative, although the rep distribution has been steadily increasing in Miller's favor. Christian Mahogany began moving ahead at left guard right away. Detroit initially divided the work with Juice Scruggs while Mahogany returned from NFI, but Mahogany's combination of power and movement has started to separate. He has pulled effectively, located defenders in space, and shown the force required to move interior defensive linemen. But by Tuesday, Mahogany was receiving the larger share of the significant first-team periods. Miles Frazier, the unexpected offensive line riser. Detroit has used him at both tackle spots and both guard spots. He has handled the workload efficiently. He's won individual reps and increasingly looks like the lineman capable of covering 4 positions on game day. Ben Bartch still remains limited by his recovery, reducing his ability to challenge Mahogany, Scruggs, or anybody else, but he continues providing valuable center guard flexibility. But Mahogany currently owns the stronger starting case at left guard. The first padded practice belonged to the offensive line. The defensive front responded the following day, showing this group is also progressing but far from finished. Another question for you would be Blake Miller and Mahogany, already Detroit's best starting choices. Do you believe it? Do you think that stays throughout camp? Or should the Lions continue extending both competitions as Frazier continues to climb? The early lineup is starting to take shape, but Frazier may be the player making the entire reserve plan work. The tight end group is banged up. Injuries reshape this room right away, but Meeks creates that hybrid role. Sam Laporta has been relatively quiet. But however, that doesn't mean he hasn't been producing. On Tuesday, Laporta found space for a gain of approximately 30 yards. He separated again on a crossing route and finished a first-team scoring drive with a short touchdown. His movement looked increasingly comfortable as the week progressed. I noticed at camp on Sunday how quick his feet were in one of the drills. Brock Wright remains the established blocking complement. His role has not generated many headlines, but his familiarity with the offense and ability to handle multiple assignments remains a very important role while the remainder of the room starts to change. The larger story is availability right now for the tight end room because Tyler Conklin spent the opening week working back from a calf injury. Anthony Fersker suffered a broken fibula, and he was placed on injured reserve. Miles Kitzelman was expected to miss some time with a concussion, and he is now on injured reserve. The Lions signed Zach Horton and Nick Muse after losing both players. Jackson Meeks is the unlikely riser, but he's rising. The converted receiver has repeatedly separated from linebackers and safeties, producing touchdowns and delivering two very important situational catches late on Tuesday morning. Meeks, he still has to prove that he can block NFL defensive fronts. His route ability, size, and special teams experience already give Detroit a reason to continue the evaluation process. The battle has changed from a conventional tight end at the third position or the third competition at tight end 3 to now a roster construction that is looking to add a hybrid player that as a pass catching tight end. Does Conklin reclaim the third position when he's healthy? That's my question to you. Or is Meeks competing for tight end 4 at this point? Can Meeks provide enough receiving and special teams value to change that order and become the Lions' third tight end in 2026? Another question I have for you would be this. Can Jackson Meeks become valuable enough to force Detroit to carry even 4 tight ends? Early in the offseason, I said that for the Lions to be successful this year, especially with Drew Petzing's system, that 4 tight ends was going to be critical. And now, after hearing some things that we've heard through the media sessions, it sounds like Drew Petzing is willing to forego 4 tight ends and use what works best, which could be a 6th receiver. Those storylines are going to work itself out over the next couple of weeks, but it's something interesting to at least pay attention to right now. Injuries are starting to open the door for Jackson Meeks. He has to be able to start to walk through it now. Defensive interior. Ali McNeil returns to form. Lacy changes the entire front. The Lions starting defensive line produced the strongest positional finish of the week. Ali McNeil moved beyond the concern area and started to create. Now, he was accidentally struck in the head early in practice. He left practice and he returned immediately and then controlled portions of Tuesday's padded session. Well, he returned the next day or so. You get what I'm saying. After being evaluated. Absolutely balled out on Tuesday. We've now heard from Dan Campbell and even Jared Goff, both praising Ali McNeil. McNeil has produced multiple tackles behind the line. He's defeated blocks before the running play even develops, and he's forcing Goff to discard the pass under pressure. His burst and his strength that were inconsistent during portions of 2025 after recovering from a knee injury appear to be a thing of the past. Tyleik Williams has now shown a greater power and range on this defensive line, as he has now been confirmed to be the nose tackle entering 2026. The Lions are considering to use him across the front. He has created pressure from the interior. He has also moved very well outside the tackle box and looked increasingly more comfortable handling a larger role. I think Tyleik's going to have a really big season. Remember Mekhi Wingo? Well, he's received some meaningful work this week, especially with the first and the second team units. He has produced pressure when McNeil needs a break. Tyler Lacy is the surprise of the season right now. He's the surprise of the entire defense next to Nick Whiteside. Detroit is starting to use him as a big end and base personnel, keeping him aligned between the offensive tackle and the guard. He can then reduce inside in the nickel packages, and he's been doing great at both. He's provided stops behind the line of scrimmage. He's been collapsing blockers and creating pressure from multiple alignments. His ability to cover the 4-eye, 5-tech, and 3-tech roles give Kelvin Shepherd the flexibility without making a substitution. The developing battle is now behind McNeil and Williams. Lacy has separated. Wingo is pushing for snaps. Levi Onwuzurike has produced more consistently against the third team than the second unit, leaving his role less settled. My question about the defensive line for you would be, has Tyler Lacy done enough to earn a starting role in the Lions' base defense? And can he become a full-time inside-outside rotational piece? I think the answer is yes. McNeil is back. Williams is growing. Lacy has changed the front's potential structure this season. Out on the edge, Hutchinson and Wadham have set the floor. Hassanin is forcing his way onto the roster. Aiden Hutchinson has looked, well, like Aiden Hutchinson, the Lions' most dangerous edge defender, has been on display throughout camp so far. He has repeatedly created pressure. He's challenged Blake Miller during the rookie's first NFL work, and he remained disruptive once the pads came on. The Lions' priority is not finding a lead pass rusher, believe it or not. It is finding enough help to prevent Hutchinson from carrying an unsustainable workload. DJ Wanham, he stepped right in and provided a stable answer to that question. His work has been balanced. He has set the edge against the run, disrupted screens, and generated pressure without relying on just one rush move. Derek Moore opened up camp with a positive note and so far exited on a negative note. His maturity is glowing. His functional movement is good, but the groin injury has interrupted his progress early in camp. Peyton Turner has missed every single practice so far with this back tightness, creating another availability concern around a player whose career has repeatedly been interrupted. And then there's Ahmed Hassanin. He is your unexpected riser. Detroit has adjusted his role, using him as a larger end in the 5-man fronts rather than asking him to win exclusively with bend around the corner. That alignment better matches his burst, his strength, and his hand violence. Hassanin has generated pressure, he's recorded stops behind the line, and contributed on special teams. His roster support has increased dramatically during the first week. The primary competition is Hassanin against Turner for that rotational position, with Moore's recovery affecting how many developmental edge players Detroit can actually carry. My question for the edge group is Hassanin. Has he already passed Turner in the Lions' edge rotation, and will he make the 53-man roster? Hutchinson and Wadham provide the starting structure. Hassanin has become the player that is challenging the original depth chart assumptions. On to the linebackers. Derek Barnes, Rodriguez, they have been producing as Devin White finally enters the competition. He was picked up after the Lions rookie, Jimmy Rolder, suffered a hamstring injury. The Lions linebackers may have been the defense's most consistent group during the non-padded portion of camp. Barnes has played with recognition and range. He's also produced the defense's first interception. He generated pressure repeatedly, diagnosed runs, and all the underneath stuff hasn't been a problem for him. Malcolm Rodriguez has also looked capable of starting. He has made very clean run fits. He's stayed attached in man coverage and broken up a pass against running backs and Sam Laporta in the end zone. He was tucked right inside his back pocket. Jack Campbell remains the most commanding player of this defense, playing at the mic. His communication, his downhill play, his ability to effect catches through contact have all been steady, even when his individual practice results were not the primary headline. The Lions complicated the weak side competition when they added or signed Devin White, which, newsflash, apparently this has been a conversation that started in free agency. He's starting to receive some opportunity and some real opportunity to challenge Malcolm Rodriguez and to add some more speed, experience to the rotation at the will linebacker spot. Joe Bocci is the unlikely riser this week. Even though I'm expecting a lot more out of Devin White, he has repeatedly appeared around the football, especially during the red zone work and the goal line work. He's produced run stops, pass breakups, and his experience and assignment reliability have kept him firmly involved in that final roster battle. Trevor Nowaski has also produced physical plays, including a stop behind the line and a pressure during Tuesday's padded work. The Lions even put him out wide as an edge rusher on Tuesday. Jimmy Rolder, Lions rookie 4th-round pick, reported a hamstring injury. He was removed, one of the most promising young defenders from the immediate competition. That leaves Rodriguez versus White at the will, Bocci, Nowaski, and Damon Clark, and Troy Reeder to compete and battle out the remaining positions. The question is, should Rodriguez remain the starting will, or does Devin White's experience create that legitimate change to the lineup? I'm betting on White. The starting competition is real, though, right? We have starting competition. Bocci has made depth decisions even that more difficult. The safeties, we have a lot of veteran depth here, and they're holding the defense together with duct tape. Without Joseph and without Branch, they're playing extremely well. The Lions camp began obviously without two, Pro Bowl, All-Pro type players in Joseph and Branch. While Kirby Joseph's knee recovery remains a concern for the beginning of the regular season, and Brian Branch continues working back from a torn Achilles. Although the team has not ruled out a late camp return, and his work the other day on the field suggests just that. The uncertainty has also transferred major responsibility to the veteran additions. Avonte Maddox was with the Lions last year and has also received a significant amount of work at the deep safety, the post where Kirby Joseph used to be. His experience at corner and nickel allows him to process route combinations and function in space. Detroit would prefer him as a flexible replacement rather than a permanent substitution for Kirby Joseph. Chuck Clark has handled first-team work and provided communication, box experience, and special teams value. I think he's one of the most steady guys out there right now. Christian Izien finally returned from his illness, and he changed the secondary immediately. The Lions moved him into a starting nickel role while continuing to use him at safety with the second group, and that pushed Roger McCreary farther down the immediate rotation, allowing the defense to use Izien as that movable piece. And then there's Thomas Harper. He might be the unexpected riser of the week. He has consistently shown up this week. He's closed from depth. He's broken up passes and nearly generated multiple takeaways. His work has been strong enough to raise the question of whether he deserves first-team opportunities in week 2. The battle hasn't even started, really. It's not even close to being over. And if Joseph and Branch can get back into that conversation, that changes everything once again. Which veterans remain necessary after 2 starters return becomes my question. And how many safeties can Detroit realistically retain until that happens? My question for you would be, has Thomas Harper earned a permanent defensive role, or is Detroit's veteran safety room too crowded? The injuries created opportunity for Harper's performance and has made the eventual roster decision more complicated. Cornerback room. We're going to get into that next, and we are almost done. Yassine, he's taken the early lead while Whiteside forces his way into the room. DJ Reed has looked healthier this season, faster this season, more explosive this season after fighting through a hamstring injury last season. He has lost individual reps to elite receivers, as every corner will, but he has also consistently recovered with meaningful plays. Reed has supported the run, he's attacked the catch point, and produced a goal line interception after a contested ball came loose. The primary starting competition is opposite of Reed. It is cornerback 2, where Rock Ya-Sin has probably delivered the more steady week than the rest of the group. His physical approach has disrupted releases, narrowing the throwing windows, and created difficult catches for Isaac Tesla and the other receivers. But then there's Ennis Rakestraw. He's flashed. The talent is there. But the Lions expected this exact type of player when they drafted him. He has accepted difficult assignments against Williams almost every day and remained competitive in just about every single opportunity. He's so close to getting his hand on every ball. The results have also been a bit uneven for him. His inconsistency is what is helping Rock Ya-Sin stay ahead. Keith Abney, the Lions' 5th-round pick, has improved as the week has progressed. The rookie is learning a lot right now in the slot while also showing the versatility to work outside and contribute on the special teams coverage units. And then what about Nick Whiteside? He is the unexpected roster riser of the week. Nick Whiteside, he's been in just about every report all week long with multiple pass breakups, interceptions during the third practice, and continued producing at least one notable result every single day. Nick Whiteside is forcing his name to be etched into that 53-man roster. And by the end of the week, Whiteside had earned work against better receivers and appeared with the first-team defense during a late situational period. This is a big battle in the cornerback room. The battle extends beyond Ya-Sin and Rakestraw. Whiteside is now challenging not just roster depth. He's challenging to have an opportunity to become a starter. My question for you about the cornerback room is this. Do you believe that Ya-Sin has done enough to continue running away with cornerback 2? Or is there another player that is going to take it from him like Whiteside if he keeps producing? Let me know in the comments below. The starting battle has been competitive so far. I mean, Whiteside has really changed the numbers game. You know, I think that at some point, Brad is going to have to decide how many extra corners he's going to have to keep this year. In the special teams room, a guy that I didn't mention with the receivers, Dortch, he leads the return work, as Bates has finished a strong week. But Greg Dortch has looked like the Lions' most natural return candidate. And behind him, I really like Pacheco. But his work has combined secured tracking with decisive vertical movement, and he has located lanes quickly, avoiding the unnecessary lateral movement that gets guys in trouble. He's consistently transitioned from receiver to runner without hesitation. He has polish. And because the Lions are replacing an all-pro punt returner in Khalif Raymond, Greg Dortch producing explosive plays early in camp, well, that just makes us feel a lot better. As far as Jake Bates is concerned, he experienced a very uneven middle portion of the week. He missed 2 attempts from 43 in one practice before making a final kick from the same distance during a simulated game-winning situation yesterday. He answered Tuesday with his strongest kicking session of the day, converting all 8 reported attempts, making multiple different kicks from range of 39 to 59 yards. It's a big response from Jake Bates because the competition is not simply about the longest kick. The Lions need something consistent. Hopefully not having to rely on Jake Bates a whole lot this year, but when they need him, they need him. Jabari Small might be the unexpected special teams riser this week. His offensive path is crowded, but his strength and durability and compact build in special teams is giving him another look. Keith Abney, Ahmed Hassanin, and Cedric Wilson have all helped their cases on special teams units this week. Their ability to contribute outside their primary positions could become the deciding factor at cornerback, edge rusher, and receiver. The one thing that Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes have always said, the question that they always ask themselves, and honestly, every GM asks themselves, is that 5th corner better than that 5th receiver or 6th receiver, right? Is that 6th corner going to be better than that 6th or 7th edge rusher? Those are real hard questions to answer, especially this early in camp. Week 1 has been an explosive week already. The Lions are banged up at several positions, but the core remains intact. The Lions' immediate depth remains intact. Let's get on to week 2. That's my update for the week. All right, thoughts, comments, questions on the week 1 wrap-up. Trying to put a bow on everything that has happened this week. There's been a lot of action. Been a lot of action. Got a lot of players playing well. It's a very deep team. All right, Kurt, have a good night, man. I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you for all your donations tonight. All right. That's your updates. I'm out of here. It's now 7 o'clock. Been on for, I think, 2.5 hours. So, yeah, exactly 2.5 hours. Had to make up for this morning. Had to rest my voice a little bit, too. Tomorrow, they're back on the field. I think they did walkthroughs or something today. I think a large portion of the practice was closed off. And again, you know, with XM radio not being able to be there during an open portion of camp, I still think that means something. Like, they don't want anybody seeing anything. And so why start now? Right? Why start now? Good stuff, man. I'm excited about this year. I think the Lions have a lot to look forward to. Before we get out of here, let's test this thing.
Every day, thousands of people are discovering Uper Lights, Michigan's newest, funnest rock to go find on the shores of the Great Lakes. Don't go out with just any light. Try the Convoy C8 from uperlights.com. It's guaranteed for life, and you'll find all the ones everyone else misses. Quality UV lights that are perfect for Uper Lights, with prices starting as low as $20. Please make sure to visit uperlights.com for all your UV flashlight needs, with the best guarantees on the market. Just what you wanted and not what you didn't. The best quality, the best guarantees, and the best UV flashlights from uperlights.com.